Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 112. And today we are sitting with my guy, Jimmy Gomez of Envyus.
Ooh, excited.
Jimmy, what's up, bro?
Oh, brother, I'm honored to be here.
So this is your second time on the pod, first time in person, dude.
Yeah, this is cool. I love your setup. It's a trip, man. It's a trip. This is like its own world of its own in here, man. This is cool.
Thank you, dog. Yeah, the last time we did it was probably like in the 20s or the 30s, because this is 112 right now. I remember we did it over, what was it, FaceTime?
Yeah, we did it over, I think it was Instagram Live, wasn't it? I think it was Instagram Live.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was Instagram Live.
Yeah. But either way, it's good to have you in the studio, man. Thank you for making the trip.
Brother, I'm honored to be here. I mean, especially the people you've had in the past sit here in this chair and in this room and you. And,
Thank you, man.
This is cool. This is really cool.
Hopefully it's just gonna get better, dude. I'm on my hustle with it.
Bro, this is just the beginning for both of us.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Hell yeah, dude. So happy belated birthday, man.
Oh, thank you. I'm surprised I still have my voice, but yeah, we had a pretty good time last night. A couple of my members, Nina and Zuli, they set up a little birthday party at a Mariscos, because every time I come to Southern California, every show afterwards we have to hit a Mariscos place, this, that. So they rented out this place, and it was cool, man. We had a really good time, and yeah, I drank more than I should have.
It's all good, dude. It's your 21st, bro. So, for everybody listening right now that's not familiar, can you give us a quick breakdown of Envyus and what you guys do?
Envyus, we started with 5 friends in Central California. We started a car club back in 2011, and we named it NVUS. And it's not envious, like the word, like somebody's envious of the other person. It's Envyus. The reason we came out with that name back then was because it was an era where trolling was king. Mm-hmm. And the bigger of a troll you were, the cooler everybody else thought you were. So we had this, we're not going to participate in that negativity or that junk, and they can envy us. And with the same decision with the name, our motto, we put we support those who support us. So it doesn't mean we want the whole world to envy us. It's just those who have anything negative or whatever, just envy us, sit in the background and watch us play.
Yeah.
And those who support us, let's do this.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. And we've been rocking together since 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, bro, man, I clearly remember that day where I was sitting in the canopy and you came around the corner and you're like, "Hey, Jimmy, how's it going, man? Is it cool, if I take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Holy shit, hold on, you guys, hold on. Frank Downstar's gonna take a picture. Frank Downstar's asking to take a fucking picture." All right, yeah, bro, absolutely. We take the picture and I go back. I'm like, "You know who he is?" I was like, "Holy shit, man."
Hell yeah, dude. That was dope, man. Yeah, because I seen you on your grind.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, brother.
And that was at IFO. IFO
Yes,
Bakersfield,
IFO
2012.
Bakersfield. Yes, it was.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember before that, I told this story a lot of times when the first time we went to Week Fest San Francisco, and you had your booth there, and I remember Mike had his Prelude, Big Mike had his Prelude there, and man, I was like a 15-year-old girl, man. I was like, holy shit, look at the dude, because I used to like obsess with the Skunk 2 Elite videos. And you and Mike and Ryan from Rywire and all these people were like on Skunk 2's Elite, and I'd watch these videos and then you'd hear about you guys on, social medias. Back then, social media was barely getting its lift, like, from Facebook or Instagram. And, you'd see all this and then to meet you, and then to see, Big Mike, and it's just a trip, man. It's just a trip how far we've come. And then, you and I became personal friends after that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You're such a humble person. It's easy to make that friendship with you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
But yeah, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so the Envyus has been growing strong, man, since 2011.
Yes.
That's wild, dude.
Crazy.
So how many members are you up to now?
An educated guess, probably about 1,800 to 2,000 worldwide.
Wow.
Just on our Facebook private page, we're about 1,200 members on the international page, and that's the private page with just the members. But we have entire chapters and entire states out of country that don't have Facebook. So we do we have quite a few on top of that. So that's why, the rough guesstimate is
Yeah.
18 to 2,000.
So let's say some of these countries that you guys are in,
Mm-hmm.
which ones surprised you the most that you have a chapter in?
Turkey. When it first started with them just replicating, they seen the logo and they started replicating it with shirts and big.
No, you're good.
They started, they took a big group picture of about 30 of them, and they all had these red shirts with Envyus and Envyus flags, and everybody's sending it to me like, who in the hell? What the? I was like, shit. So we looked deeper into what they were doing, and then Rafael Jimenez out of Fresno, he's our international lead. So I had him contact them like, hey, you guys can't be doing this and this is that, and they were very understanding about it, and they wanted to know what was the right process to get in. And so we did get them on board, and that it's a crazy movement out there, man. It's almost cultish.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's almost cultish. It's a big. They really respect the team and what it stands for, and they've even brought it into their political side, because what's everything is going on with Turkey and the Kurds and all that other stuff.
What is it?
Well, Trump pulled some soldiers out of Syria, and that's where the Kurds were, and there's a border between Turkey and Syria, and Turkey came in, and that's when they just started shooting up the Kurds as soon as the U.S. backed up out of there. And it was a big old thing or whatever, and both Turkey and the Kurds are allies to the U.S., but rewind it 2 years ago, they looked at the Kurds like the Kurds are trying to take over, Turkey, and that they're what's ISIS? What is it? Terrorist? So they're looking at Kurds like they're terrorists.
Gotcha.
So they did this big old parade, in support of their country. And, we have videos of that, their Envyus cars, they're all bannered up, and they have the Turkey flag, huge Turkey flag, and they're driving down the street, police escort. And then you see like hundreds of cars behind them all protesting in this country. It's just crazy.
Turkey, dude. I don't know if we ever shipped anything to Turkey before, man. That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of crazy. But you never know. Remember, you didn't think really too much about Mexico. You didn't think you didn't ship too much in Mexico, and you went out there in Mexico, and holy shit, everybody had your stuff.
They either had our stuff or knockoff stuff, which was cool either way, dude. That was the first time that I saw actual knockoff Downstar stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was checking it out, and then the guy came up to me later, and he's like, hey, man, you're from Downstar? I was like, oh, yeah, nice to meet you, man. He's like, yeah, I saw you checking out my bullets. I know they're not real, but I want to get real with them. I'm like, it's all good, dog.
Love is love.
Yeah,
love
dude. It was just a surprise to me. But good, man. I'm happy for you, dude. I've always been happy for the success that you had, because you've been working hard on it, dude.
Thank you, brother.
Every year you're just pushing it further and further.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, what is the next step for Envyus, or what do you have on the plate for 2020?
I really want to start pushing with collaborations with bigger companies.
Gotcha.
I want to really look at Champion and Cookies and all these other brands, and I got to speak with a couple of them, a couple years ago, and I just feel I put a seed. I just planted a seed, and 2020 I'm going to come back and start watering it and see where it grows.
Good, dude. Yeah. And do you have any trips coming up?
Ooh, next month I will be flying out to Dubai. After that, I may be going to China in February.
Sick, dude. So tell us about the Dubai trip. What's that all about?
The Dubai trip, one of my buddies, Jose Mariquin, he contacted me, and he said that Dubai is having this really big event that they're trying to bring out the car culture out there to stimulate their economy, because I guess in the next 20, 30 years, I guess their oil is going to be depleted. So
gotcha.
They're trying to stimulate their economy with the fashion world, with the automotive world, and they're trying to bring all this other stuff in. And so the country is paying for all these car people to go out there and basically like a SEMA is basically be like a SEMA But the only flip side to this is they're paying everybody to go out there, and they're paying the travel and the airfare and the rooms and food. They're paying for everything. So, I mean, that's a good freaking start. I mean, because with anything, with any brand, with anything, you're going to lose money at first. You're going to start breaking even, and then you're going to start profiting.
Yeah.
So, that's so they got it right. They're doing it.
Dubai, bro, that's
Dubai.
crazy,
It's crazy,
man.
I know.
What are your thoughts, dude?
I contacted some of our members out in Saudi Arabia, and I told them, said, "Hey, I'll be out there, and I'd love to see you guys." And they're pumped, They're
wow.
yeah. So it's gonna be crazy.
I wonder what they're gonna gift you, dude.
Oh,
It's gonna be a wild trip. Dude.
Yeah. They sent me all the information as far as like men and women, what you can wear, what you can't wear, the etiquette, and all this stuff. And you have to be on your P's and Q's, because it's another world. It's another country. It's another set of values, and you have to go out there respecting it. And they have no problem jailing you for not respecting their values.
Dude, do not go to jail. And
No. They were scaring me about China, and China's a little bit worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? China's crazy, and they have this thing. As soon as you get off the airport, they scan your hands for any resins, even because your sweat will even produce resins for any drugs or narcotics. And so they're just like, try not to take anything at least a couple weeks before you go out there. And I was like, I could do that. All right.
Damn,
so, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
So as soon as you get into the airport in China, as soon as you go through whatever, so there's cameras everywhere, and instantly you're going to be facial recognition or recognized. So wherever you go, if they don't really care about Jimmy. They don't really care about following me around. But let's say if I do commit a crime, they'll backtrack everywhere I went, who I talked to, and everything else. They'll backtrack it all the way to the airport.
That's crazy, man.
Fucking crazy. Huh?
Yeah, they say that we don't have freedom here, but at least we don't have that.
You got people that are born and raised here, and they've never stepped a foot outside their city, and they complain about the United States. I mean, bro, I've seen some pretty jacked up places. You know what I mean? And I mean, we live in a country where if you're on welfare, you still have an iPhone. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. So yeah, we have it pretty good here.
So let's go ahead and dive into the beginning of it, dude.
Okay.
I like to call this the when you first came out of the womb. So, where were you born at it, and what did your early life look like?
I was born and raised in Visalia, California. I was, I'm staying there. I don't have this urge to leave. Born and raised in Visalia. I was raised, mom and dad at home. Good environment. I veered off, and that's why I used to tell my mom when she was alive. I used to tell her, I go, you have me like a bird. You put a bird inside your palms, and you're holding them there, and as soon as I can fly, I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, they were really protective.
Very protective.
Both mom and dad.
Very protective. Yeah.
Got you.
Very protective.
Were they born and raised in Visalia as well?
No, they lived in Visalia a majority of their life, but they came out of Texas, both of them. So,
oh wow.
So up to my great grandparents are out of Texas.
Got you.
So, growing up, and then getting into junior high, I thought the whole gang life looked appealing, and all that stuff, and I got involved with people I shouldn't have. And I mean, there's two flip sides to that. People on the other side, they could say they got involved with me, which they shouldn't have. You know what I mean? So
you've always been a gang leader.
No, I wouldn't say a gang leader, but Frank, I've always had that. Was that camaraderie or something like that? Yeah. That sense of belonging. I've always had that, and it was in a negative light. In my early years, and there was a fork in the road where I got arrested when I was 20 or 21. I got arrested, and while I was in the holding tank in the county jail, you guys are, what the heck? While I was in the holding tank in the county jail, one of the YDOs, that's a youth development officer that went to my high school, he was in there booking somebody, and he looked again. He's like, "What are you doing in here, man?" And I was like, "Dude, like Jeff McIntosh, that's his name." And I was like, "Jeff, man, this, that, and this, BS, this bunk charges, and blah, blah." You know how everybody's innocent. And so he said, he goes, "Let me go look at your charges." So he went and looked at them, and he came back and he goes, "Look, man," he goes, "you can pick yourself up from this. Either you're going to go one way or you're going to go the other." He goes, "I've seen you in high school. I know your personality. You're a good kid, man. Straighten up." So I had time. I had time to think about that conversation. And it was nothing. It was like 45 days, and they're giving 43-day kick. So I was out in 2 days. I mean, no big deal. But, and from that point I did. From that point, I did straighten up. I went back and got my GED, and I went through a police academy, believe it or not. I went through the police academy, and one of the stipulations of my probation were I couldn't be in possession, control, or near a firearm. Oh. So when I was going through the police academy, I let the director know. I said, "Hey, this is my probation, and we're going to go through the qualifications for firearms and this, that, and the probation thing." And so the lieutenant, and I did a total 180. I did a total 180 change from that point where I got arrested and I got out. Total. Yeah. I left everybody behind, but I didn't do it in a way where everybody's all F Jimmy. I did it respectfully, and I just, I took my own path. And I got involved with like the Concerned Citizens Committee of Visalia, the North Visalia Advisory Committee, Neighborhood Watch. I just totally went all out.
Really?
Yes, I totally went all out and started doing all this good stuff. And then I went to the police academy.
Good for you, man.
So when I went to the police academy, the lieutenant, Dave Wheeler, he was the commanding officer of the gang task force that arrested me. So he vouched for me. He's seen everything I was doing, and he mentored me. And when I went back to court to dissolve the charges, he went with me to court. The mayor of Visalia, Jesus Gamboa, wrote me a letter in my behalf to the judge, and then a couple of directors of the at-risk youth centers wrote me letters. And the judge looked at it and said, "This is the first time I've had anybody flip and start doing like such a good job and being a productive member of society." And he goes, "And I'd be honored to dismiss all charges," and blah, 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 blah. And then my new life started there.
Nice.
Crazy, huh?
Hell yeah, man. So what year was this?
This was in 93, between 93 and 95.
Got you.
Between 93 and 95.
So what ended up happening with that?
I did work Visalia for a while. I did like a volunteer reserve position. But at the time I was working manufacturing, and I was working 12-hour shifts, 2 weeks straight, no days off. And I could not dedicate myself to go back on the weekends and put in, because you had to put in like 16 hours a month to keep your certification, your post certification. And I couldn't do it. There was just no way. It was either working 16 hours a month and getting a stipend of, I don't know, like it was $150, $175, or working full time and live.
Yeah.
So I had to choose, which now I totally regret. Now I wish I would have just slept under a bridge and just kept doing it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I mean, everything's predestined. Everything's meant to be.
No, definitely, man.
Everything's meant to be. But I have no regrets. I have no regrets.
Yeah.
So after that, I continue working industrial, continue to stay in Visalia. And then, I started detailing cars. That was my gig. Back then, my wife was my girlfriend. Uh-huh. So back then I was trying to make ends meet and try to make more money. And I started detailing cars, and I bought this bucket for $60, and it had a mitt, it had soap, it had freaking wax. And she was like, $60, that's a lot of money, and you're just throwing it away on that. I was like, no, my barber's going to pay me $45 to detail his Explorer, and so it's going to pay for itself.
Yeah.
And fast forward at 2 years, it paid for itself, man. It paid for itself. It got to the point where I was going to all the business owners' homes and taking their their Mercedes, their freaking, oh my God, what was the most expensive car I took? A Viper. I took a Viper back when Vipers were new. I brought them back to the house, polished it, did paint corrections on it. And yeah, by the time you know it, I was losing money going to work.
No way.
Yeah, I was losing money going to work.
So when you're working your job at the industrial job, and then you just decided to do this detailing on the side?
Yeah, I would go into work at 3:00. So I would bring the cars in at 8 in the morning, have them all polished, do a 4-stage paint correction, detailed up, and by 2:00 I'd be done, take a shower, get ready, and go to work at 3. And I did that solid for about a year and a half, like nonstop. But the money, man, that's what you're addicted to. You're addicted to that money. So you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's how we started Team Envyus, because one of the guys that wanted me to do his car, he had a Civic and it was fixed up, and I had my Civic, and you know, he's like, dude, we should make a car club, bro. And that's how it all started.
So at this time when you're detailing cars, did you have any passion for cars?
Yes, I did. That the new Civic, the new body style was coming out, and it was 2000.
That was the 8th gen.
That was the 8th gen.
Okay.
And back in 2005, that's when I was doing all the, you know, hustling and everything else, and trying to, you know, get money for this new body style that's coming out. And I got the FG2, and I think I was the 3rd one in California to have a white one. And
Nice.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to beat it up, because every car in the past, I blew the motor, man. I bought a brand new GSR, 2001 GSR, brand new, 7,000 miles, blew the engine.
What the fuck? How?
Street racing, brother. I was direct port nitrous. I mean, everything you could think of, bro. I mean, I was in it, man. I was in it.
So let's get to that point. Let's get back
Sure.
to the point where you figured that you had a love for cars.
Okay.
So when did that come along?
Whew. Man, I think in 97 is when I started getting into the imports, because before then I had a 50 Chevy, I had a 46 Chevy.
Oh, nice.
Fleet line, yeah, 4-door bomb, and then I had a 63 Impala, and then I had a 69 El Camino Super
No
Sport.
shit,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I was all into that. I was all into the muscle and the lowriders and all that
That's
stuff.
the same as my Chevelle, dude.
Yeah,
The
that's
El
what.
Camino's just the truck.
Yeah, that's why when I seen it, I was like, dude, oh my
man.
God, I had like $11,000 in this damn thing, and it didn't even start yet. You know what I mean? I was like, shit, man, this is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're driving these the old schools.
yeah.
And so when did you get into the Hondas?
One day, my buddy Esty Jimenez, he's always been into the Hondas ever since I've known him, and we used to work at McDonald's together way back in the day. And he came by the house to say hi to me and visit, and this is that. And when I looked, he had a little EF, he had a 4-door EF, and he was like, "Let's go for a ride, man. Let's do this, let's do that." And I was like, let's go in this little rice burner. You know, that was my mentality, right? Let's go in this little rice burner. And
Yeah.
What do you have in your glass packs? It sounds like you have glass packs in your exhaust, man. What the hell is it? You know what I mean?
Glass
Like I didn't know nothing, right? So he took me in it, and he hauls ass in it, and all I see is the road, because you know those old cars, man, all you see is the hood or the ornament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's hauling ass, and I'm like holding on to the oh shit handle, like what the fuck, you know? And then all you see is just the road. I was like, dude, and he's like, dude, you should get the new Civic Si, and that was the 99 2000. He's
Got
like,
you.
you should get it when it comes out, and blah blah blah, this is that. And yeah, but yeah, so when in 97, 98, 99, I had a what do you call it? What do you call those freaking a DA?
Got you.
I had a DA.
Got you.
I had a DA, and I started tinkering with that when I had the muscle cars, and I never really fully got into it, because I was going off what people were like, oh, you want a B20 bottom end, you want a GSR head or a B16 head with it.
Got you.
So I was tinkering with it, but it wasn't running. So going into this little Civic, the first one that ran,
Yeah.
you know, and going inside and experiencing it, I was just like, I'm throwing all the muscle away, and I'm going to build that little fucking car.
Really?
Yes. So I sold everything. Matter of fact, Danny Martinez, he's in Team Envyus. I sold him the 69 El Camino Super Sport at 396. I sold it to him.
It was a Super Sport?
Yeah, it was a Super Sport.
Oh, no way.
The original 396 motor in it. And I had the Edelbrock high-rise manifold and the hooker headers. And I had all that stuff in it. And I sold it. I basically gave it to him and his dad. And I started going balls out into the import thing. And yeah, so anyway, so my buddy was like, in 99, 2000, they're going to come out with this new Civic Si. And that was already like 2 years ahead. You know what I mean? I was like, So I just, sat back and tinkered with this little DA. And when the new one came out, I bought it and I was blown away because I put $5,000 into it. And I was like, I got this brand new car. I got this heat under the hood. I freaking can drive to San Francisco and back with no issues. I'm not worried about, because those old cars, man, to me, it was like you're throwing dice just to travel anywhere with them because if something happens.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And to have something that was like dependable, and I can just take this thing anywhere. It was just, I was addicted. It was on. Yeah. It was on after that.
So what was the import community like in Visalia back then? Late 90s, early 2000s?
Street racing. And I was that dumbass. Hot rodding around with just a freaking exhaust stock, trying to race everybody at every light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's me still.
You know what I mean? Doing the burnouts and just in the parking lot. That's why I try to school this generation on what not to do, because I've done it. You know what I mean? And it's just now I look back with like palm face.
Did you ever get in any trouble?
No. I got tickets. I got speeding tickets. Matter of fact, my biggest one was coming in Gorman. I was coming to SoCal, and I was going 101 in a 55, and that officer had the time of his life with me on that one.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was like a DUI. That was 2 points. It was a $1,300 fine. It was a 30-day suspension. It was a bunch. It was expensive.
You got a DUI with it too?
No, it was like equivalent to a DUI.
Oh, got you.
The punishment was equivalent to like a DUI.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had Allstate insurance, and it was from one day I was paying $150 a month, and they're withdrawing it from my banking account, and then one day they pulled out $536 out of my account. That's how high my insurance went.
For a month?
Every month, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, every month. And
damn.
So real quick, I went to that cost you less insurance. I didn't need this premium AAA insurance. Yeah. But yeah, lessons learned.
Damn, dude. So then you end up getting that new Civic. You're driving it around, and then what ended up happening to that car?
They stole it. I had direct port nitrous in that one too, and I got affiliated with it was a car club back then called MPH, and it was out of Fresno, California, and I was driving around all stock, getting my ass beat by every freaking real tuner out there, racer, you know what I mean? And so I remember I got spanked by this one guy. He had a GSR, and he pulled on me, and like 3 cars. He left me like 3 cars behind. I was like, oh man, this is that. I was all pissed off, and then the guys are standing there and said, yeah, man, like that car's not even fast either. And I was like, what do you mean it's not fast? They're like, no, dude, there's this other guy in town that, he has a fully built, B20 and this is that, and he'll spank that car by like 5 cars. And to me, I was like, I couldn't comprehend that. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Because you thought that your car was fast.
Yeah, you thought, you think your car's fast, and it's all, So that guy who was supposed to be like the main shit in town, a couple weekends later gets beat by this other guy who had his cars tuned at church. And so he was out there spanking everybody. So I take my car in, right? I take my car into Fresno with this MPH. And let me backtrack a little bit. This is before I was even affiliated with them. And I heard about MPH. I heard, like these cars, man, like if you're out in the races and these cars come out and they have that big MPH banner across their windshield, don't fuck with them.
What does that stand for?
MPH. It was just it was a shop. It was a shop. It was a motorsports shop, and they had a car club on the side, and their fastest cars. Like if you were affiliated with them, you had like the little tiny MPH little decals on your side, black glass.
Yeah.
And if your car was like a monster, they would put the banner across their windshield.
Gotcha.
So after being humiliated for like 4 months, realizing that my car wasn't shit. I took it to this shop in Fresno, and I said, hey, you know, I heard you guys, you know, doing this, and, you know, how can I make my car, you know, kick some ass out there, you know what I mean? And they're like, get this kit. I remember the mechanic was walking through the shop when I was asking the owner, and he's like, get this kit hanging on the wall, get that nitrous kit. And he goes back into the shop and slams the door. So Jose Mariquin, matter of fact, that's the one I was just with this weekend. He's the owner of the shop. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, get that kit right there, and we'll tune it and this, that, and you'll spank everybody in Visalia. And I was like, how can that be? How can that $700 part beat everybody in Visalia? Like, how's that even? And that's just, you know, when you don't know nothing, you know what I mean? You just like, you know, you can't comprehend a lot of stuff. So I said, I'm down. And he said, okay, it's Friday. Leave your car here. Come back Monday and pick it up. Well, that's my brand new car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do to it? You know what I mean? Like, holy, you know, so I was like, all right, I trust it, whatever. So I leave the car there. And then Danny Martinez, which he was the one that bought the
DA?
No. He
the El Camino. The El Camino. Yes.
So Danny Martinez, he gives me a call and he's like, hey, dude, your car's a fucking monster. And I said, shut up. He goes, dude, they're street tuning it right now. It's a fucking monster. So I was like, dude, I'm like, my hands are getting sweaty. I'm like, oh, dude, what do they do to it? Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, come by, you know, Monday and pick it up and this is that. So I went to go pick it up and they had it on the lift and they had other cars underneath it. And when they brought it out, they lowered it and it had the MPH banner across the windshield.
Shut up.
Yeah, so I go, what the fuck?
You got bannered?
Yeah, and they're like, Jimmy, your car's a fucking monster, dude. Like, call out the fastest car in Visalia and we'll take everybody from MPH out there to represent this and this, that. I was like, holy, now I've got butterflies because I'm thinking there's no way this car is going to beat these guys because these guys are built, you know, he had a fully built B20 in his car. I think it was like 150 shot, you know, dry nitrous kit, whatever. Yeah, you know, and I'm like, holy shit. So, yeah, they, you know, fast forwarded a couple weekends and it was all the talk, you know, Jimmy's going to race this guy. Jimmy's going to race that guy. And I had the car and my mechanic made it so I couldn't turn the nitrous on. Like he didn't want me to fucking blow the engine. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he had it to where I couldn't activate the nitrous. So the weekend of the race, I remember, you know, rolling into Mooney because I met up with all of them in Goshen. That's a town outside of Visalia. I met up with everybody, and there was probably about 20 to 30 MPH cars, and all of them had that big banner on it. And then Jose, the owner, was like, I'll roll in your car. I was like, oh my God, dude, like Pee Wee's gonna roll in my fucking car. So we're driving down Mooney, and back then, this is before social media. So Mooney was the place. That's where everybody's cruising. That's where everybody's drag racing. That's where it's at.
That long ass road.
Yes, bumper to bumper for like 3 miles, just cruising.
No way.
Yes,
very cool.
That's how it was every weekend. So we rolled up in the In-N-Out parking lot, and I remember just everybody was like, oh shit. And I remember just feeling that, this is the shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is life.
Toretto.
This is it. You know what I mean? So we pulled up in there, and the owner of the other shop where that guy got his car built, you know, he's all, pop the hood. I want to see this. I want to, and then my guys are all, there ain't no hood popping, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, run what you got, not your mouth, you know, this or that. So we took it out to a country road, and there's a recording of it on a VHS camcorder.
No way.
Yes, there's a recording of it. I'm not mistaken. Danny has it. And you have to realize I had the stock clutch and I had regular tires. I didn't have, you know, back then it was 555s. You had the street slicks and this, that. And that guy, the other guy, had the street slicks and he had a stage 6 clutch and so I'm like, oh man, bro, like there's a lot of people watching this shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people here.
So before the race, did you test it out, or you didn't even test out the new
setup?
No,
the mechanic, Joel Gonzalez, shout out to Joel. Joel Gonzalez was like, I'm going to drive it. I tuned it. I'm going to run it for you. And I'm like, dude, like I can't let that happen. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I gotta race my own car. And he's like, Jimmy, let me run it. And I was like, fuck. And then Danny's like, Jimmy, just let him. So we're sitting at we're over there like a quarter mile down, and we see the 2 cars line up, and then they take off, and whoa, you just hear them coming, man. And I seen the guy with the built B20. I seen the headlights just go up, like he just jumped. Wham! And I'm like, oh my god! And then here they go, whoom, whoom. My car took it.
No,
and I was
way.
like, holy! I mean, it was a salad. I mean, I could not. It was, and that's why I know the addiction of street racing. I know that addiction. I know how it feels to win. I know how it feels to lose, and we've been shot at. You know what I mean? Just we've been through all that. I mean, that's why building the team, I was like, I didn't want that element in there.
Yeah.
Because with street racing, even with my personal group of friends, we would be like, dude, your car's slow. Fuck you, your car. And you get that. And then there's even animosity that builds up. It's hidden, but it's there.
Yeah.
And you guys will go out to race and then you lose or you win or whatever. And it's just like, it's not fun losing. So you have, it brings a lot of BS into the equation. So I just, I wanted to leave that out, and that's, yeah.
So after that night, did you end up racing it yourself?
No. I started racing it like in Delano. We go out to Delano and run them, and then we'd go out to Hayward, and then that's when I started getting the feel for it and running it and getting used to my car. And by then I had the ACT stage 4 clutch, which I don't know how my dashboard stayed together.
Really?
And then, I got the 555s and then Skunk 2 suspension. Back then, you had to get the Taquico struts and the Skunk 2 coilover
that
sleeves.
Was the setup,
yeah,
dude.
remember that?
Yeah. Taquicos and sleeves.
Yep. And so we had to, we tuned that for the race and everything else. And they were doing stuff that, that was out of the box, like what I found out later, they didn't tell me then, but when they were putting the nitrous in, they took the head off, and I think it was, what is it, Spoon or Gretty who has that head gasket.
The head gasket, yeah, the sticker.
Yeah. So what they would do though, what he did was he kept the Honda head gasket and he took it apart and he took out the inner layer and he put it back together because that raised the compression. Mm-hmm. So he did that little trick to it, and then oh my God, what else did he do? He put like Saab. The Saab, the car, the company Saab.
Yeah, Saab.
He put the Saab cold spark plugs on it. And, we put GSR, not GSR, we put Prelude Type S fuel injectors in it. And, just little things like that where, and like now, it's just all you have to do is just click and get it,
Just buy the new stuff.
Yeah, and back then it was like, it's like, oh, we have a Prelude that's fucking beat up in the back. Let's take this out of it and put this. I'm like, what the hell, you guys? But that motherfucker was a monster.
The Prelude cat converter. Put it in. Flows better.
You know what I mean?
Take the speaker box out. What the fuck, dude? Isn't it so funny when dudes are trying to lose weight for their cars? Take this out, and they're fat as fuck. Like, bro, lose some weight. You're cutting out the whole inside of your car for 10 pounds?
Yes.
You're 50 over, dog. Let somebody else. Let me drive.
Yeah, changing your hood to a carbon fiber hood. If you weigh 300 pounds, it doesn't mean nothing. I mean, come on. Fucking leave the fucking hood, bro. Just go.
Oh shit, you're so right, dude. That's funny, bro. I always hear that when they're just talking about the smallest pounds. Like, people will ask us about the hardware too. Like, I want to do everything titanium. I want to save. I'm like, all right. First of all, bro, you're saving probably like 10 pounds through the whole car.
Yeah.
And then you're talking $4,000. Get the fuck out. Just lose some weight. Yeah. You'll be good.
Yeah, and they don't understand the importance of like air pressure in the tire, or like Kirk Gordon. Kirk Gordon, we were walking around an event one time, and he was like, you need to put that plate underneath the car so it, you don't get no resistance from the wind. Little things like that really work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and people don't think that. They just think of what somebody else posted, and they're just going to run from it and run with it from there.
A lot of the real racers, though, like the drag racers, those dudes have it down to a point.
To
and
a
actually,
science,
they're getting ready right now for World Cup. World Cup is this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think it starts Thursday or even Wednesday.
Oh,
yeah. So we got some guys headed out there. Shout out to FCS, man. They're going from out here.
Yeah.
Where's it? What's that by Magic Mountain? Santa Clarita. Yeah, from Santa Clarita driving all the way to Maryland.
Yeah.
So there, last time I checked, he was in Texas.
Oh, wow.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick from Moso Sick Media goes out there.
That's right.
Yeah, he always
dude.
goes out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Nick from Moso Sick
Hell
Media.
yeah, shout
man.
out to Nick, man.
Have
So
fun out
World
there,
Cup
brother.
should be pretty dope, man. There's a lot of guys headed out there. There's gonna be some world records broken out
That's
there
gonna
for
be
sure.
insane. Whatever happened with Skunk 2's race car?
I don't know. We're still trying to get Dave on the podcast. Ask him about it. Shout out to Dave.
Fucking Dave, man.
Yeah, but speaking of Dave, man, you went from admiring the people on the Skunk 2 street team to having a good relationship for a while with Skunk 2,
Yes,
right?
yes. It was, a matter of fact, it was 2011 this weekend. It was on my birthday.
Really?
It was on my birthday. I went out and it was Skunk 2 and Pastor JDM. I went to both companies, and both companies took a picture of my car and posted it. And back then, when that first happened, people in Visalia thought I was lying. When I told them I was going to get ready to go to go to Skunk 2 and go to Pastor, they thought I was the biggest bullshitter. I'm not even lying.
Really?
Brother. Everybody thought I was just lying, like I was just full of shit. And so when they posted it on their Instagram and I was driving back, my phone was blowing
Hell
up.
yeah.
Everybody's like, dude, somebody from Visalia actually made it, dude. Like, this is that. Like, you fucking did it, Jimmy. Like to them, it was like I won the lottery, you know?
Yeah. Dope, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, with that whole relationship, I should share the relationship with Skunk 2 on there.
Yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit. I'll put that
Sure.
on the docket. But I want to kind of paint the picture for the rest of it. So I want to get to where you got into the 8th gen.
Okay.
So you're racing the EM1 and doing all this crazy shit to it, putting a Prelude air filter and stuff.
No, it was Prelude fuel injectors.
Okay.
But you know, back then that's what, getting back into it. You know, because I after blowing so many motors, I was done. I didn't even want to look at a freaking import.
Yeah.
Until the 8th gen came out, and that sparked me back up again. But back then, it wasn't FG2, EM1, or EK. That was, if you talk to somebody about that, they're like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro?" It's a 99 Civic SI, or you know what I mean, or it's a 90 Acura DA, or not even a DA. It's just a 90 Acura.
That lingo probably came from when the term JDM came out, and that started getting popular. I bet you that's when all that stuff.
It's crazy, you know?
Yeah. It's a little different eras.
Yeah,
you know?
different. There was a different generation when I got back into it, most definitely.
So you ended up blowing the motor in the EM1?
I blew the motor in the EM1. I blew the motor in the GSR. I just, and I mean, just, when you build a car for performance, and this is for the ones that don't know, okay? You're just getting into it. You're just getting on Instagram, you've seen these cars, and you're like, oh, this is cool, I'm going to do it. A lot of those parts that you buy, they're meant to go down the track and then rebuild. You know what I mean? And I was trying to daily, stage 6, clutch, and I'm trying to daily a freaking MSD ignition, blah, blah, blah. And, the freaking, the ballast burns out on you. And you're like, oh, what the hell? How come it didn't last me 100,000 miles? You know what I mean? So stuff like that. And I would sit there with my car that had this reputation, but shit, it was down every 6 months. It was broke down.
Yeah. And
then I would see the guys driving around these clean cars. And at first I was like, oh, they don't have no street credit. Screw those dudes, those pussies. You know what I mean? Like that was my mentality. And then when my car was down, I'd be sitting there in the front yard watching them pass by. I was like, man, that's not such a bad idea after all. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was learning.
So you blew the motor in that, and then let's fast forward to when you got the 8th gen.
Okay, so after blowing the motor, I had a sour taste in my mouth for the street racing and blowing the cars, and it was just a huge waste of money. And then you start reflecting of what you could have done with that money. I could have bought a house.
Yeah.
And so the new 8th gen came out, and first of all, it was the flyers, the brochures that came out. And I was going around work and, hey, what do you think of this? Look at this. And they're like, it's ugly. It's ugly. I was like, you motherfuckers don't even know. This is bad. So I put my hand on the tires and make it look like it was lowered. I was like, oh, this thing would look sick slammed, And so I went and put like $3,500 down as a down payment on it, like 9 months before the release of the car. and you know, I'd be at work, and every day I'd be like waiting for them to call me. And so finally they called, and I don't even think I had a cell phone back then. Or I did. I had a big old freaking Motorola.
Gotcha.
And one day they called and they said the car's here. It just pulled up on the truck, and I was like, "Don't take it off the truck. Leave the plastic on there. I'll be there in 30 minutes." So I remember I left work and I hauled ass over there, and I took my parents with me.
Yeah.
And hauled ass over there, and they had the car. I was like, "Oh my god!" And my parents drove the car back, or their car back, and I drove the Civic back, and oh man, brother, that was life.
Do you still have that car?
I still have it.
Damn.
I still have it. I mean, it's parked and it's all full of dust. And
what's the reasoning for that?
You know, I was so meticulous about that car, and you know, I polished it all the time and waxed it all the time, and you know, Honda had that big old recall because of the paint. Mm-hmm. The paint was cracking, and you'd see spider web cracking on it and everything else. And they were only enforcing that with the black and the blue cars, and the white cars, they had no warranty over it. And I was like, well, look, it's doing the same thing than these cars. And oh, well, we'll take pictures, we'll send it to corporate, and that never went nowhere, right? So, the back of the windshield, there's that little piece that's like a little gutter between the windshield and the roof of the car.
Yeah.
Right then the paint started peeling off, and that irked me to the point where I didn't even want to drive it. I didn't want to drive it just because of that. And people were like, "Jimmy, you can't even see it." I can see it. And I stopped driving it because of that. And you know, and then that's when, you know, we started having the canopies for shows and everything else, and it was just I couldn't take both anyways, so I was just taking the Tahoe out with, you know, all the merchandise and stuff like that. So it got, you know, it just sat there. But this coming week, Mario Garcia, he's my chapter lead out of Bakersfield. He's going to tow the car back to his shop because he does custom carbon fiber. So the car is going to get revamped.
Nice. Hell yeah,
dude.
It's been a minute, bro. I haven't seen that car out in a while.
It's been a while.
Look good though.
Oh, thank you.
I remember.
Brother. I appreciate that.
It was rose gold.
Yeah,
right?
it's
rose
copper.
gold accents. Copper.
Okay, yeah.
Copper accents.
Yeah, I had it all. I had a lot of the stuff on there copper plated, and I drive around town with the hood off and the supercharger and everything just showing. And I only got pulled over twice, and the only two reasons I got pulled over was the cop was telling me, "Dude, this is a badass car." Like I was on the side of this car, and I went behind it, and I was like, they were like, "Dude, this car's fucking flawless." And I was like, "Thanks, man." Yeah, so. Yeah, good memories in that, but I mean, it's going to come back. It's going to come back, and I think people needed a break from that car. So when I do come back out with it, it's going to be like, oh,
I feel like that sometimes too, because the heavy in the street CG, like I was going to part it up. I'm going to keep it now. Yeah. Right hand drive, I haven't really done anything with it, dude. And it's just like, I have other things that I'm focusing on besides the cars. Like I don't want to just keep putting it in people's face.
Yeah.
Because then they're just going to get tired.
Burned out with it.
You know? So when I bring the cars back out, do some little changes or whatever, it'll be something new.
Yeah.
Plus, every year we gain more of a following.
Yes.
So people, maybe they'd never even seen those cars before, you know? So it's dope, dude. It's like a legacy.
It's just like Tank's car. Like the Tank.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Mike G.
Yeah. Like I ran into him, was it? Oh, what show was it? I think it was Branded. Went to the Branded show, and I was walking by, and he's all, "Jimmy," and I look, I was like, "Oh, dude, like, oh my God, this car." You know what I mean? It's like an icon, you know what I mean? And that car was built years ago, you know what I mean? And it's still flawless, you know what I mean? And, and that's, you know.
I think it lives in a bubble, dude.
Yes, it's meticulously, I could.
Super clean, man.
Yes, and I could not, you know, I couldn't even fathom how he could do that. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a little OCD, you know, I'm a little OCD, so every time we take it back from the show, I pull the wheels off of it and just start cleaning it all up." And I was like, "Jeez." Like, it looks like it lives in a bubble, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Mike G, man. That's what's up. So let's get to the point where you decided to start Envyus. What was your train of thought there, and what was the earliest steps that you did to start the club?
I really... I never had it in my head to start a car club. Again, you know, when I was detailing this guy Fernando out of Bakersfield, you know, he wanted his car, you know, polished and cleaned up, and he had a Civic. He had an 8th Gen 2, just like mine, a G2, and he brought the car over, and I polished it and got it all cleaned up, and then he came back to pick it up, and my car was there and his car was there in the driveway, and he's like, "Oh my God, bro, look at the paint. That is so beautiful. Look at, bro, and then your car, look how clean they are, And I just had the HFP kit on it, the HFP wheels.
Yeah.
And our cars were basically stock. He had, I think he got his original wheels, and he put that, what's that?
Plastidip?
Plastidip. Yeah.
Yeah.
He dipped them white, and he had it lowered. And, so when he was, we're sitting there, looking at the cars, he was like, "Dude, we should start a car club, man." He goes, "I used to be a car club, this is that." And I was a part of it. And, we called it Kamikaze, but it died out, and we should use that name again. And I was like, I think you throw a rock in the sky, it's going to land on a Kamikaze. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't think we should name it Kamikaze, man. I was like, well, I go, I know of a cool name. I said, I know of a cool name. It would be cool. This is that. And he's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "How about NVUS?" And then he's like, "NVUS?" I was like, "Yeah, like NVUS, like, with all the trolls and everybody, and that was when 8th Gen, that was when 8th Gen was popping that forum, and it was just trolls and other forums I won't even mention. They don't even deserve to be mentioned.
Yeah.
They're just, it's like a swamp of trolls. And
Yeah.
so that's why I was like, let's do that for these guys, NVUS, we're going to take the positive path, and, we won't street race. And it was funny because that just sparked me up. Like in 1 second, I had all these ideas that quick, about a car club. And, so, we got, exchanged numbers or whatever. And then he, the following weekend, I said, "Hey, they're going to have an 8th Gen meet in Fresno. Let's mob out there." And, he's like, I'm down. And my nephew at the time, I'm still my nephew, but at the time he had an RSX, really clean white one. And I told him, I said, "Let's roll out to Fresno." And so my other nephew, so there was probably like 5 of us, we rolled out to Fresno to this 8th Gen meet. And I thought it was going to be crazy packed because, you see all these hundreds of thousands of people on these forums. So I thought it was going to be crazy packed. So we rolled out there to Fresno, and when we pulled up to the park, those 2 guys standing there with their hands in their pocket. And I was like, "Hey, where's the 8th Gen meet?"
You're here.
We're it. This is it.
Where's the rest of the trolls?
I said, "Yeah, are they in the trash cans? Where are they at?" So I was like,
shit.
"Are you kidding? This is it?" And he's all, "Mm-hmm." I was like, "Shit." I go, "Well, let's bounce, man. Let's go grab something to eat. I'm hungry. So let's go. All you guys roll with us, you two." So we went
8th Gen for a meet.
Yeah. So we went to this place to go eat pizza, and when we were getting out of the car, Fernando's all, "Hey, dude, let's hit this guy up. Ariel, let's hit him up, see if he wants to join." He had a FA5 slammed, all clean as fuck. And that's when, those visors for the side windows.
Yeah.
He had all that, and it was just like, damn, he had the red emblems and all this stuff. Like, oh man, this car's clean.
Yeah.
So we talked to him, and we're like, "Hey, check this out. We're going to start a car club. We're going to call it NVUS, and it's going to be different. We want really clean cars, and we're going to focus on companies, and we're going to focus on events, and we're going to be different than everybody else."
Hell yeah, dude.
And he was like, "I'm down." I go, "Are you serious?" Is that to me, it was like asking a girl on a date. Like,
yeah.
"Are you down?" And I'm down. Like, holy shit, is she down? Right? So he was down. So, so then we had, it was me and Fernando, Ariel, and then my nephew, Matthew. And then his friends started coming around, and his friend Paul. So it was the 5 of us. And that was the original first 5 founders of Team Envyus.
Nice.
Yeah. So we would roll everywhere together, my lord. Somebody wanted a jumbo jack. There goes all 5 of us jumping in the car to go get a jumbo jack. Somebody wanted this, so we'd all mob everywhere, and it was like we were breaking necks everywhere we went, and so
at this time, did you guys have banners?
No, we didn't.
Gotcha.
We rolled probably like 3 months with no banners, and
Gotcha.
Then one day Fernando showed up, and he's like, "Hey," he goes, I got these banners made and this, that. I should have put 2 and 2 together because Fernando was a huge fucking ESPN fan. Like all he did all day is watch ESPN. And when he brought these banners out, it looked like the ESPN logo.
Oh.
It was the ESPN. So if you guys go back and you look at the original logo, laugh because that is the ESPN logo that we just converted into Envyus.
Yeah.
So we ran with that for a little bit, and then I was like, and that's why I told the guys, I said, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but I don't like it. It looks like it came out of Farmersville. It looks like it came out like a small city, and image is everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need a more professional looking, logo. And so my nephew got with Mike Lamb, and he's this IT guy, and they got together and I was outside mowing my yard, and they're in the house on the computer, and then they come out. What do you think of this? I was like, that looks cool, but do this. And I kept mowing the yard. They come out. What do you think about this? That looks good, but underneath here, we support those who support us, and that bar underneath. And then the collegiate letters, put it lower. Let's put the crown in the center. Let's put 5 dots. That's going to represent the 5 founders. So there was some thought that went into the logo.
Cool, man. Hell yeah.
And then, so we went from there.
And that was 2011.
That was 2011. That was October 2011. And around town, more and more people started like joining us. And it was funny because, we would all mob together, and then like 4 or 5 people would just like follow us. Mm-hmm. So you'd have these imports following us, and we didn't even know who they were. And we'd meet them and talk to them. And, and then we started, discussing, how we were going to structure it. We didn't want a president per se. We wanted the 5 founders as like the original council,
Gotcha.
So when, the bigger we go. And so it started growing in Central California between Fresno, Bakersfield, and Visalia. It started growing immensely. And then we opened up a chapter in Modesto, and then Long Beach. And then I think Texas. Yeah, Texas was the first out of state. And then we had Texas, and then Virginia. So, and we were growing, and I still did not want chapters. I felt chapters was going to be a division.
Gotcha.
I didn't want any division. I didn't want, I wanted peace and harmony. You know what I mean? And so the bigger we got, I had to realize there has to be more structure to this. And the more I grabbed the bull by the horns, the more the respect aspect started, reflecting on me. And, people were like, you should be the president, you should be this, and you should be that. And you're the one doing all the work, and you're the CEO. And like, and that whole CEO thing, I didn't label myself CEO. That's what the guys started like, oh, Envyus CEO, you're the CEO of Envyus, the more popularity the team got. And by the way, we had a 15-year-old photographer for the first year. So all those images that went out, a 15-year-old did it. Nice. Yes, he's badass. So, the more popular the team got, and the more, I guess the more popularity I got, it put a bitter taste in some of the original founders' mouth. You know what I mean? And that's
just bound to happen.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. That's why, now when I school car clubs, and it's a trip, man, because I'll have somebody come up to me, and they have like 150 members, and they're asking me for advice. And I tell them, this is going to work, and this is not going to work.
Yeah.
I don't care if you've already done it for 2 years and it's worked. It's not going to work. It's going to fall apart. You have to have somebody, there has to be leverage. There has to be this. There's a lot of things that go along with it, and, yeah. So, I learned a lot of things the hard way, and that's why I posted that a couple of days ago. Those who you thought will be there during the success, the road to success, you'll find won't. Yeah. They won't be there. And then the least people you think will be there will pop up, and they will support you because they have a different mentality as these other guys that left you. Yeah. They want success. They want to bring, and, so it works out that way.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, dude, because early in my career, I thought that I would be surrounded by a lot of different people that I am now, Yeah. And usually the only people that I surround myself with now are people that have the same kind of vision and the same dreams and aspirations, not the exact same, but wanting more out of their life than just whatever's provided to them.
Yes.
So it just naturally happens like that, dude. You'll gravitate towards the people that are more like you.
Yeah. And when I wrote this down at work, and it's funny because I was listening to your podcast with Jason, and you guys were talking about it gets the lonelier at the top. The a lot of people can't relate to that, because when you have all your friends around you and there's no reason for anybody to be envious or jealous of you or anything else. Yeah, everything's peaches and herb. Everything's good. But when success is hovering over you and other people see it, you have all these different people that come to you with intentions. Either they're bad or they're pure and they're good, and you get into this road, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, excited. You want to tell everybody everything that's going on with you and all your next moves, and you're just excited. And you think and you feel like they're going to be excited with you. And when they're not, it dampens your spirit, but you have to keep going forward, okay? And you're going to have people that are going to smile to you in front of your face, and they're going to say this behind your back, and it's going to come full circle, and you're going to start hearing all the things that people are saying. So you start distancing yourself. And at first you have 100 friends, but now you're distancing yourself from these 5. And then now you're distancing yourself from these 3. But the longer you go, you have to start distancing yourself from certain people because their intentions aren't what you thought. And, and some people, they drain the energy out of you. They'll drain your fire, and you just have to shake yourself off and get away from them. And that's why, by the time it gets lonelier and lonelier and lonelier, and you've been burned or humiliated or backstabbed by all these different people. And you got rid of them in your life, but you see other people coming into your life with those same characteristics. You don't have nothing against them because they personally didn't do nothing, but their characteristics, their traits, what their potential is. Yeah. You know what they can do. So you keep them at arm's length. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, that's a kind of a little insight, of the, it gets lonely at the top, and, my mom always told me, you can have 1,000 acquaintances, but with one hand, you can count your true friends. And it's true. Yeah. I can go into I can walk down the line at Week Fest San Jose and everybody, Jimmy, hugging everybody. They're acquaintances. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have love for them. Shout out. Yeah. But can I call you if I'm homeless, and can I stay with you for 2 months? You know what I mean? What I mean? So there's a difference.
Yeah, no, definitely feel you on that one, dude. And the more you grow, the more you realize that others that you want to grow with you aren't going to. Yeah. It's just like we were talking about before the podcast. Like, everyone has their own path in life and what they want to do, what they want to create. Yeah. And you just have to align yourself with people who have the same ideas and aspirations that you do. Yeah. And if people don't, like, no hate to them, but it's nothing that I can really spend my time worrying about. Yes. You just let these people do their own thing. I know there's a lot of people that I used to hang out with that I don't hang out with anymore. It's just because I have different things that I want to do. Yeah.
And it's not saying that you're better than them or they're better than you or it's just, it takes a lot of energy out of us, what we do. It does. It drains a lot of energy out of us. And this is the easiest way I can explain this. It's just like if you have, like, my kids' toys, and this is where I got this. Mm-hmm. Okay, like my kids' toys, you're gonna, if you put 4 charged AA batteries in there, this toy is gonna freaking go for a week or 2 weeks. If you put 1 dead battery and 3 charged ones in there, it's gonna die within a month. I mean, not, but within a day or two, it's gonna drain. That one drained battery is gonna drain the rest of them. And when you're striving for something better, those people, that's why I said earlier, they can drain you. And to me, iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. And bless you.
Thank you.
And that's why whenever I'm around you or I'm around other people who are successful, I get my charge. I get my charge, and then I can go inspire other people. You know what I mean? And that's what we do, man. That's what we do.
And we've done it many a times. Pause, dude. We've had many adventures together, dude. One of the last being when we went to Mexico about this time last year, right? When was it? Was it
November? Was it November? Yeah, it was November.
When we went to, what was it? Imports Face Off. in Mexicali, wasn't it?
Imports
War.
Yeah, Imports War.
Excuse me, Imports War.
Imports War.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
Imports War in Mexicali. That was an experience.
Yeah, it was, dude. We fucking grubbed that whole trip. I think that's all we did. It was just ate.
We woke up. You hungry? Yeah. We'll go out over here. Go to the candy shop. You hungry? Yeah. All right, let's go over here. Like and their food is bomb.
Oh
man.
yeah,
That
man!
food
Shout out to Ketchus.
Ketchus, man.
Yeah, he was in charge of us, bro. We didn't know what the hell was going on, but as long as he was good, we're like, all right.
I'd be worried about stuff. He'd be like, boss, don't worry about it. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm like, shit.
All right, whatever. But there was that time when it was the night before the event, and we're at the soccer stadium, and it's just you and I just sitting on the bleachers right there, and it was one of those moments where you're like, damn, bro, how did we even get here?
Yeah.
You know?
Remember I told you, I was like, did you ever think we'd be in Mexicali, Mexico, sitting in a soccer stadium bleacher right now? Did you ever think that?
Bro. That was so random, Jimmy.
Oh,
but
man.
It was a good time. You know, one of the biggest things I remember was that Vidia that we had over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Dude, that was so bomb.
Yeah, that was
man.
crazy. That's crazy how they put the meat in there first and then
Yeah,
come
and
with
then they come with the juice.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, bro.
And
It's
then
like,
that time that I almost got kidnapped. We went to
you were so worried about being kidnapped.
we went to a little store, and this was right there at the border. And if you guys aren't familiar with Mexico, usually we're right by the border is where it gets a lot more sketchy. So we're at these what was it, like a piñata store or something that just had mad candy, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go next door. And I went to the next door, and then I went to the one after that.
And see, you didn't tell us you were going to go next door. You said, hey, BB, I'm going to go outside real quick.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
like, okay.
My
So
bad.
I thought you were going to go outside and get some fresh air and talk to Ashley on the phone. So we get all of our stuff and we walk, and I look around and I said, where's Frank? And everybody's like, oh, no, let's go in the car. Maybe he's going to, he'll come to the car and, in the Tahoe. So everybody gets in there and we're sitting there, and I was like, no, man, this isn't right. He's not nowhere around here. So I tried calling you, and your phone, I think your phone just kept going to voicemail. And I was like,
Because I wasn't on the service.
So
I was
like,
only on Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, see, and I was like, what the hell? So I told one of the guys, I said, you go into this shop, and I'm gonna go into this shop. Let's go in there looking for him. So we went into the shops across the street. We're looking around, and the only thing I could think of is, oh shit, how am I gonna tell Ashley that we lost fucking Frank in Mexico? What the fuck? I'm stressing, man. And I'm like, and I go back to the Tahoe. I said, did he come back yet? Have you guys seen him? He's like, no. Have you tried calling him? I said, his voice is going straight to voicemail, his phone. And then you come out all happy with bags. I go, bro, where the fuck were you, dude? Like, we're sitting. I had the worst. I was thinking you were standing outside getting fresh air, and a Jeep pulled up and fucking grabbed you, and I could hear you already because you're saying, dude, I'm only $120, and these guys will take me. I'm like,
Ash did not want me to go. She did not. When it was like maybe a week or two before that, I agreed to go, and I told her, and all right, everything's cool. But once it started getting closer, I think it started setting in on me. I was like, babe, chill. It's gonna be all right. But I didn't know myself. I didn't know it was going to be all right, I
kept telling you, remember? And then the year before, you're like, no. BB.
It was like 2 years that I denied it.
Yeah. And I said, Frank, you have to go out there, bro. You have to see these people, man. It's so cool. And you're like, okay. And then finally you gave you told them, you're like, okay, next year I'll go. And I was like, okay, he said that. He said next year, here you go. So I went and told everybody. I told the staff, the coordinator. I told all these guys. And I even went on the Mexican news, bro. They had me on the Mexican news. They had a panel and everything, and they had the media there, and they're talking about the event. And I was like, next year, Frank Downstar will be here. And Pastor JDM said they'll come out, and, every year's getting bigger and bigger. And then, so I remember hitting you up, and I was like, hey, BB, and I don't know. I was like, bro, you told everybody next year. I told everybody. You're all, fuck.
When you said that, I was like, fuck, I gotta fucking do it, dude. Because I did.
Yeah.
I said it. I remember I said it, and I told Ash that I said it, But it was a really good time.
Bro, the people out there are so beautiful. And you hear all these crazy stories and everything else, and when I went out there the first couple times, I was scared too, and they told me, they're like, we get scared talking, we'd look at, East LA and Watts and Compton and Oakland. Those are scary, like that's scary to us. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, So it's just, you fear what you don't know. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I think it's just about how you carry yourself too. When I was over there, I knew that this isn't my home.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to disrespect it
Yeah.
in any sort of way.
Yeah.
And but we ended up having a great time. I was on stage speaking Spanish. I said, estás muy excited.
Yeah, and everybody's watching. It
was really cool, man.
What? Oh, and then we got to meet Border Brothers, that Border Brothers car club. Remember the Border Brothers?
Yeah, those dudes were deep.
Shout out to Border Brothers.
Shout out to them, man, because they kind of scared me, dude. They were like real gang ass car club, and I was like, oh shit, you could tell, bro.
Yeah, they're the real deal.
It was cool, man. It was cool how they were together like a family, and there was just a lot of them. And they showed you guys love, and it was just nothing but love over there. And Envyus was deep over there, dude.
Yeah, that's I got a lot of love and respect out of our guys and the people of Mexico, and I that's why I'm excited to see other countries. I want to we have you and I we do have a following in other countries, and for them to see you and to meet you, they're mind blown. Like when you and I were walking around, you can hear people like, oh, that Downstar. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. And it's like, and that's why I told you, I was like, bro, like, let's walk outside the line, like all those cars that come in, let's just walk out there and be cool, and meet everybody as they come in, and
that's like, it's something that I kind of don't like, I would like people to recognize me and recognize the brand and feel comfortable to come up and have a conversation, but it's where it's more of like the starstruck kind of thing. I'm like, nah, dude, because I want people to know that my biggest thing is to let people know that I'm just like you.
Yeah.
And if you admire the position that I'm at, you can be at the same position too.
Or higher, yeah.
And I'm gonna, higher. And I'm gonna give you guys the blueprint of how I got here.
Yeah.
I'd never been the person that wanted somebody to think that I was better than them, and sometimes it does feel like that. And I get it, because maybe if somebody's from a different part of the country or different part of the world and they only see us online and see the people we associate and things like that, they probably have a different idea of who we are and how we should be treated. But whenever I see somebody, dude, I always want to ask them more questions than they want to ask me. I want to get to know them, and get to make them feel special. Like, I don't want to feel special. I want people to feel special, So sometimes it puts me in like a awkward situation, but I've figured ways to actually maneuver around that rather than make them feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I'll do it and I'll just talk to them, hey, what's up, and I'll just ask them questions. I'll say, hey, you got a picture of your car, let me check it out. Because those are the relationships that last a long time, dude. Talking about planting seeds, you plant a seed in that, so anytime Downstar ever comes up, these people have the highest to talk about you. Not because they just met you, oh, I signed this or whatever. It's just like, yo, this dude was cool. He was asking about my family. He gave my kids stickers and things like that.
And that is what it's about. That because you were new to this at one time. You seen how everybody was acting when you first got into this, and either they're acting bad or good, and you know how not to treat people, and and that's kind of why my thing is like going down the line, like when people are trying to get into a show, or if I ever go and I want to introduce myself to people out there in the line, because I remember how it felt, going to these big shows and you feel like a little fish in a big pond, and and it can be intimidating sometimes. So that's why I like to go out there and be like, hey, what's up, man? Dope ass shirt or whatever, and go in there and have a good time, you guys. And then that loosens them up and they feel a little bit more better about going, and I've been there, done it.
And that's one reason I like to hang out with you at events and things like that, because we have like the same energy, So when we speak to somebody, it's like we're not waiting to get bigged up. We're like bigging up them. Good job with your car or whatever, to make them feel special.
Because this is how I look at things. Because let's say tomorrow Envyus is gone. You know what I mean? And I'm at an event, and how are they going to look at me? Oh, there's that cocky asshole that was that ran that car club. Look at him now. You know what I mean? So pride comes before the fall. And, I always want to keep myself humble and grounded. And that's how come I like to hang out with people like with the same mentality, because you got those, showboaters or whatever, and they come and go. Yeah. They're like a firework, you see them and they're going up and you see them on their journey and then they explode, boom. And everybody's watching them, everybody's talking about them, and then they disappear. And the next year, nobody knows who they are.
Damn, that is like the dopest way I've ever heard it explained before, bro.
So,
wow.
And then you have, other people in the industry where they're just like the street lamp, they're there, they're consistent, and they're shining light on anybody else who wants to come around them, and that's I'd rather be that and hang around with people who do that than anything else.
Yeah. And you do it, man. I see the way that your members speak about you, and it's like, it's very high, man. They have so much respect for you and everybody that is part of the team, dude. They call it a family.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's we start from upper leadership all the way down. We lead with love, compassion, and understanding. On the outside looking in, Envyus, car club, all three, nice car, whatever. But as the president, I've been in situations where it's real. This is real. I've spoken to members' wives where they would tell me that, their husband was suicidal. They would come home from work every day scared that they would find their husband dead. Oh, and shit. Ever since they started Team Envyus, now they have something to look forward to. Now they have hope. Now they're active. Now they have members coming to their houses for barbecue. It just changed their life. I've also, twice I've been to car washes and funerals where, the moms were like, Jimmy, my kid wanted to get into Envyus so bad. They were prospects. And, so it's a bigger impact than just, oh, I don't like you no more, get out of the team. Or, you don't like me. We don't see, the same views, F you, there's a lot more behind it because, these members, their families are proud that they're a part of a worldwide car club. Their friends are proud. And when they're no longer a part of it, everybody's, well, what happened? Well, what happened? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of thought that goes into, the way we structure and the way we act and the way we are with our members, and it's a family,
yeah. Now, since the popularity of Envyus since 2011, I've noticed a lot of other car clubs coming up with kind of the same the same structure as Envyus, yet speaking down on Envyus.
There's car clubs that there's quite a few car clubs that I have helped design their logo. I have helped make their shirts, you know what I mean? And we're not stingy about nothing. And there's other car clubs where, members have left the team to start their own team. And, they come out like the firework. They come out and boom, and everybody's looking and everything else. And, we don't bash them. We don't talk about them online. We don't put them down or whatever. Even if they do that to us, my members know, we don't entertain that. Just let it go. And, how can you down talk us and say so much negative when you're trying to do the same exact thing we're doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there have been quite a few that get in it. They do it for the wrong reasons. And what they'll do is they want to start this big car club and they want to start this movement, quote unquote. But what they're actually chasing is they're trying to chase that same respect that I get in the industry. That's their ultimate goal. And that's for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I got into this not to get glorified or popular or anything else. We did this out of fun, and then it became serious, you know what I mean? And so we had to structure it as so. But, when they're doing it for the wrong reasons, it's easy to recruit. That's the easiest thing. I can go to any huge meet and have 50 banners and say, hey, who wants a banner of Envyus? Oh, I'd get a line. It's easy to recruit. What's hard is to maintain it. That's what's hard. What's hard is to maintain it and and continue to give everybody in that organization or that car club a sense of belonging. That's what's hard.
Yeah.
And then you got some of these guys where they'll recruit a lot of my members, promising them, hey, you leave that chapter and I'll leave you we'll make you a state lead of this new car club, this and this and that. And we're a bunch of members that are ex-members and blah, blah, blah. Well, now everybody has opinions on how they should run. And there's a lot of conflict where Envyus is already organized. We're already structured. So you put these people with all these different ideas and these different attitudes and and what you have to learn is if they left Envyus for this promise, they will leave you for another promise.
Oh yeah.
So, I've seen it where they grow real quick and then overnight I'm hearing they're losing members everywhere, and not even to toot my own horn, but I've even given some of them advice on how to keep it.
That's OG shit, bro.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I've even gave them advice like, don't do this, don't do that, because you'll lose it. And they don't listen and they lose it, and then they're coming back. Okay, now I'm going to listen to every word you say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Now, as far as the structure of Envyus, what is it from the most beginner level all the way to the highest level that you have in Envyus?
Okay, so so let's say we have a chapter. Okay, so we have a chapter. Let's say Los Angeles chapter. We have recruits, and recruit is somebody who's interested. They're coming around. They're everywhere the chapter's going, they show up, and once the chapter sees dedication from them, they're going to bring them in as a prospect. So when you're a prospect member, you're on the chats. You're in the loop of the chapter. You just don't have no say. You don't have no voice. So when the chapter is going to vote on something, 9 out of 10, it's just going to be the members, and the prospects don't really have a voice. The minimum time to be a prospect is 3 months, and we've had prospects up to 2 years trying to get in. So after you wait the 3 months, your build has to be to a certain level. You can work on that level as a prospect. Your car doesn't have to be, magazine status to come in as a prospect. You can have a clean daily and be a prospect, but they want to see progression. They want to see you working on it. And what I tell a lot of people is the prospect stage is 70% the person, 30% the car. Okay. And we don't want to mix oil and water because it's not going to mix. You're just setting yourself up. So we have the prospect stage, and then from there you're a member. And once you're a member of a chapter, now you get the banner. You get you're with everybody else. You have a voice and you vote and whatever. And then in the structure of that chapter, you have a recruiter. The recruiter's job is says it for itself, recruit. Mm-hmm. And then you have a sergeant at arms, and then you have the chapter lead. The sergeant at arms is the backup to the chapter lead. So the sergeant at arms, let's say the chapter lead's gonna, go to Japan for 2 months on duty, for the military. Gotcha. And then the sergeant at arms is gonna step up and run that chapter while he's gone. Then we have a state lead. Every state has a state lead. The state lead is there to mediate if there's an issue between members and the chapter lead or whatever. If it's out of the control of the chapter lead's hands and they contact the state lead's going to come in to mediate. The chapter lead and the state lead do not have the authority to drop a member. Mm-hmm. That's why it's crucial for the chapter lead to make sure who they're bringing in, because if you bring in somebody who's going to be a pain in the ass to that chapter, now you're gonna have to go through all the process to get them out, and so that's why they're very picky of who they bring in. Yeah. So the state lead, that's the state lead's job. Every state has that, and then we have 5 regionals in the U.S. and they're all over the place. From North Carolina, Wyoming. We have 5 regionals that they're spread out, and we divide the states up underneath them. So if there's an issue going on where the chapter lead is like done with this person or this issue, and the state lead goes in, the state lead says, hey, I already went in there twice, try to mediate, try to do this is that. These people aren't listening. These members aren't listening. So the regional's going to go in. The regional's going to go in very objective. The regional's going to go in and say, okay, there's 3 sides to the story. There's one side, there's the other side, and there's a truth. So my job is to dissect it and figure out what's going on, come out with the best solution, something that we don't have to drop people.
Yeah.
And put everybody on the same page. So the regional has a lot on their shoulders because we've had regionals make the wrong decision and we lost entire states because of it. So the regionals have, they have a lot more on their shoulders as far as decision making and everything else. So the regionals, they have the authority to drop a member. So anytime a regional gets involved there, that's when everybody's like, oh shit, like it's got real. You know what I mean? Like, so, above our regionals, we have directors of operations. We have 2 of them. We have one, Tristan Church, out of North Carolina. He's the owner of Stage Motorsports. And then we have Ryan Cali out of New Mexico. He's my pit bull. Ryan's my pit bull, man. We have issues, and I call Ryan, man. He's my pit bull.
Yeah.
So Ryan and Tristan, they're there to guide the regionals, and if there's something that's really above a regional's head, those 2 will get involved. And rarely will they bring it to my attention, but if it's something pretty big, they'll bring it to my attention. And then above them, we have our vice president out of Bakersfield, California, and that's Ludger, and then me. So that's the structure of it. Oh, and then, sorry about that. I screwed up. So lateral, and I don't even know if we can even say lateral, but we have Rafael Jimenez out of Fresno, and he's our international lead. And he's the one responsible for starting the chapters in Mexico and Malaysia and Saudi Arabia and all over the place, all over the world. So, and those different countries are structured just like the United States, but they have one lead for that country. So they have like one regional lead for Panama, El Salvador, or wherever. And they account to Rafael, and then Rafael accounts to me directly. So, he's probably equivalent to like the vice president. And then we have Ariel Osuna. He's one of the original. He was the one that the AGen meet where I was like, "What are you guys doing?" He's still around, ride or die, man. So, yeah, Ariel's one of the original founders too. So that's the structure.
That's cool, man. How did you even come up with that way to structure it?
Well, like I said a little earlier ago, when we first started it, we wanted it to be like a council. So it was going to be the 5 of us to do this, that, and and what was hard about it is it got easier for everybody not to get involved with issues and just let Jimmy take care of it. Okay. And, I kind of started seeing like I don't give a shit attitude. I started seeing that more and more come out of a couple of the original founders. And, I let it be, I'm not one to, sit there and be dropping people or whatever. I let people hang themselves, so I just step back or whatever. And, we were in Southern California. One of our members, threw a meet at a Mitsubishi dealership. And so there was a bunch of people from SoCal there, and we're all hanging out. And, when we were all together, I told, the guys from SoCal, I said, we're having issues with some of the people, some of the original, members and that original founders. And, just to give you guys a heads up, I don't think they'll last longer than 6 months in the team. And, when that happens, we're going to have to think outside the box of what we're going to do. 2 hours later, I get a phone call from one of our members in Fresno. And he said, "Hey boss, are we changing our banners?" And I said, "No, we're not changing our banners." "Why?" He said, "Because they're, so-and-so were out here at a lower standards meet, and they're taking their banners off, and they're telling the crowd if they want an N, if they want an S, and they're throwing the decals away. And they told us that we're changing the banners to take our banners off." And I said, "You're kidding."
Really?
Yeah, I said, "You're kidding." I said, "Bro, get the hell out of there. Who's with you?" And they're, "Oh, so-and-so. I said, "Get the hell out of there. They're dropping, dude. That's what they're doing." So I got off the phone and I told everybody, "Remember I told you guys in 6 months, they're over there right now taking their banners off." And nobody could believe it. Everybody's like, "Are you kidding? Like, dude, these were ride or dies, like these were hardcore." And,
yeah,
I said, that's what they're doing. So, it shook me up. I mean, I was like, what are we going to do? Is this the end of it? Is Envyus going to fall apart? You know what I mean? Like it seriously shook me up. And, so on the way home, that 3-hour drive, I was contacting members from every state, and I said, we're changing things now. You are going to be the new state lead. You are going to be a regional. We're going to spread out the regional. So by the time from LA to Visalia, Team Envyus was totally restructured by the time I got home.
Oh, shit.
And then from there, it flourished even more. It blew up even more.
Yeah.
So
if I'm sure you're going to have people that are going to listen to this that are ex-members and that may not agree with some things that you say. And I'm sure you've heard things. So what are some things that you hear people complain about you and Envyus, and what would the what's the disconnect?
And I've said this many times before. Envyus is where we're at because of ex-members and current members. You know what I mean? We are who we are because of those people who are no longer with the team, the work they put in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't have done this all by myself. There's no way. If God took it all away tomorrow and said, do it again by yourself, good luck.
Yeah.
I couldn't. There's no way. So I do give credit where credit is due. The pattern I see is when people let small things get to them that are very petty, and it grows and it grows. And then they pick up on every little thing that's bad, and they say, see. And then they get others to follow and listen. And that cancer grows and grows and grows. And they leave or they get dropped. And, they can have their opinions. The biggest thing that I've always fought was, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. And I think the reason that some will have that mentality, it's all about the money, is because they don't know me on a personal basis, and they don't know that money really isn't the issue.
Yeah.
I've hit you up when I hit rock bottom with no money. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've hit you up where I'm like, bro, I'm against the wall. I'm broke. I am fucking broke. And people will still say, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. If it was all about the money, I would give banners out like they were candy, because you're going to make money off that. You're going to make money off new members wanting the banners and wanting shirts. That's a 100% guaranteed cash flow. But we don't do that. We're still very selective of who we have. We're very selective of who can do what, who can't do what. And a business person would bang their head against the wall like, Jim, you have all this opportunity to make money. If it was all about the money, you know what I mean?
I can vouch for that, because I definitely did tell Jimmy, I was like, dude, you should be doing this.
Yes.
But it's
yeah, and I've had very, very successful people say, look, this is what you should do. You should tell them there's going to be a 20 a month dues. We'll send you out 2 free shirts for the 20 a month dues. And we can get this big old trailer truck. We can put a printing machine on this thing to print shirts, and we'll travel all over the US, and we'll make money, and we'll do this and we'll do that. I've had that opportunity, and I turned it down, because now it's going to start looking like it's all about the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whenever people sense greed, that's a turnoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and like I said, if you don't know me personally, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's like, Jesus Christ, if you guys only knew, you know what I mean? Like, you invest $3,500 in all these shirts, and, with $3,500, you go to a show, and let's say you make $500 off of the shirts.
Yeah.
Now $100 has to go back into gas going home, which you spent $100 on gas going there in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it doesn't add up. We do it enough to keep our head above water, and it's fun. You know what I mean? That's why going forward from this point, I would like to hit some collaborations with some big companies where the money is going to be real.
Yeah.
And when the money is real, all it's going to do is going to benefit the team, because my vision is that big rig, that Envyus big rig. My vision is driving all over, through Canada, through the United States, through Mexico with this big rig representing hard. And who wouldn't be proud of that?
Hell yeah.
I remember when I wasn't even with Skunk 2. I was just affiliated with Skunk 2, and they would roll in with that Skunk 2 truck at the races, and everybody, fuck yeah, all pumped the fuck up. it takes a certain person to have their arms crossed and be like, look at that. It's all about the money. It's all about the fame. You're just a little sourpuss, dude. Like, get out of this industry. You know?
Well, you definitely put the work in, man. You got to put that foundation work in, and then to be able to turn it into something. Like even for this podcast, we could be selling ads, but we're not.
Yeah.
Like we could be selling ads for downstarring.com, where you could get all your dress up hardware needs. Downstarring.com, or you can follow us at Downstar. I could be selling ads like that, but we're not doing that. But no, I feel you, dude, and it's dope, man. I'd love to see where the teams come from and where it's going from here. But
Absolutely.
so for all the positive things that has happened, there has been some hardships that have gone along with the growth of the team. I remember one of them that really upset me was the loss of the trailer.
Yeah,
that time.
Yeah, that was I think the only way I can explain that loss of the trailer, it was like an athlete getting getting hit by a baseball bat in the knee.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm still trying to recover. I mean, you have to understand, when they took that trailer, I had 2 Envyus canopies in there. I had 20 totes of merchandise from every color lanyard, from like 5 different styles of shirts, from hats, shift knobs, license plate frames. I had all this stuff in that trailer. So when I go to events now, usually I only have like 4 totes, and that will fill out. That makes it look like we have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
When they stole that trailer, I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's when we would go to events and we could make $3,400 in one event, like no problem. You know what I mean? And when they took that trailer, it was just like, damn, you know what I mean?
So when was this? Was this up for an IBOC?
Yes, it was for IBOC. It was when they had Race Wars on Saturday and they had IBOC on Sunday. And you want to talk about a humbling.
Yeah.
Saturday at Race Wars, I had 2 canopies. I had 8 tables full of merchandise. I had the trailer. I had all this stuff. They stole it that night. And the only thing I had left was a box of license plate frames that I got from Kevin at Top Ups. I went to his house that night. Matter of fact, when we went to his house that night to go get the license plate frames, that's when we came back and realized that the trailer was gone out of the fucking parking lot in the hotel. So I had that, and I had my speaker box, and man, I remember just feeling so numb. I felt like it was a dream. I remember I was like, I thought the wind pushed the trailer to the back of the hotel. Like something happened.
Yeah.
Like it has to be here. It has to be here.
It got impounded.
Yes, it has to be here. There has to be So, I wanted to go home that night. I was like, I'm fucking done. I want to go home. I can't even. I have to digest this. And then Raphael was like, boss, let's go. Let's go to IBOC. Let's just go. We'll sell those license plate frames, boss. Yep. Let's do this. I mean, you. And I was like, dude, like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done. I'm done. So after about another hour of convincing me that Raphael would convince me and, to go. So I was like, all right, let's go. So we took the box speaker and we stacked it with license plate frames. And by the morning, it was already like, I could say almost fucking viral that everybody that everybody posted that trailer got stolen. It was everywhere. And Ryan from
Hegner
from IBOC was like, hey Jimmy, just go right in, man. Just go right in. And I didn't feel worthy enough just to go right in. You know what I mean? Because usually it's just like, all the guys, go right in with the canopy, whatever. And I was like, we're going to go stand in line with everybody else. So I told Rafa, let's go stand in line, man. So we took the speaker box and we're standing there, and those a group in front of me, and they're like, hey Jimmy, man, I'm sorry about the trailer, man. I heard about it. This is that. I appreciate it, man. And they're like, hey, we'd like to support. Can we buy some of those license plate frames? Or are they for members only? I said, no, they're for everybody. And so like 13 different people in that, like, we're like, well, we'll buy one. And I didn't even feel good about it. I felt like they're just pitying me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was just out of pity, And when we got inside the event, we were walking around and people would just come up like, hey, can I support you by getting a license plate frame and this is that. And then that's when we were in there for about 2 hours, that's when I really started feeling the love from the industry. Like, people were just coming up to me and telling me sorry, and companies, and, if there's anything we can do, let us know. You did it too. If there's anything, we can do. And yeah, and a lot of people, they stood up and they backed me up, man. And they did get me on my feet. People were raising money doing auctions and this and this and that. And you did it, we
did that one. Yeah, that's right.
And we were doing this and auctioning that. And you auctioned off some of your prize stuff, for me.
And 101 shift.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that I could not even have dreamt that up of how the industry did that. And it did. It got me on my feet to, I was able to get, a heat press and this and other stuff, to get back on my feet. And that's why I said, I mean, we're still running, but it's just like, you have that little damaged knee. You're still limping a little bit, but I'll get it back. I'll get it back. That's all I have to do is, I'm going to go back to work and, just do my little hustle on the side, and we'll get back there, man. We'll just come out swinging, and that's the thing. There's always a light at the end of my tunnel, man. I'm never like down and out. Like I give up. I'm just going to do that. No, man, God has brought me too far to quit now, man. We're just, and it's going to get bigger and better, and it's going to be. And, I said that, 6 years ago, I said that 4 years ago, and every year we're just getting bigger, and, and our level is, for instance, 2 weeks ago, Hyundai USA started sharing one of our members' cars on Hyundai's Instagram. They have never had a modified car on their Instagram ever.
Oh, really?
Yes. And they shared like 6 or 7 posts of his car. And that's like a needle in this big old thing. Like the team has done so much, and it's just there's no stopping us.
Yeah.
When we go to companies and we're talking to them about collaborations, you look under the hashtag Envyus, we're at 181,000 hashtags.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like it gets their attention. Like, oh shit, okay, maybe you guys are the real deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're taking baby steps, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if anything, baby steps are the way to go towards success, because once you're at that top, every single centimeter of your business, of your company, of your car club, of your anything that you're trying to achieve, every aspect of it, because you went baby steps and you did what you had to do. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. You're doing it, Jimmy. And a little off topic, guys. I don't know if you saw, I posted up that we are going to do a hotline for the podcast. So we just started the hotline.
Oh, shoot.
818. Write it down, guys. 818-937-3470. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, shoot us a text.
Oh, wow.
And drop your Instagram name and let us know what you think of the podcast. If you have any questions for Jimmy or anything like that, we're going to start doing call-ins and having people submit questions and stuff like that. So make sure you guys enter it into your phone. 818-937-3470.
See, it's ideas like that, brother. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it,
because I'll be listening to a podcast. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I have this question or just some funny joke to go along with what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool if they could just message in, hey, I'm listening to the episode with Jimmy, and I remember seeing him at this show or whatever,
cool.
And it'll be dope to be able to go over that on the pod.
That'd be really
But
cool.
it's just those new exciting ideas that push you forward, and I know that you guys have so many of those, man.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into the companies that you work with now and the relationships that you've built with them.
Okay. I would like to talk about the skunk too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about skunk too. Like I said earlier, I was watching all the videos from the elite members for the Skunk 2 Elite Street Team, and you have their certified plaques,
badge,
the plaques that they give and everything else, and oh my god, dude, that stuff's so exciting. And the way the way I started the relationship with Skunk 2 was trolling on them.
Really?
I was heated. So they had their beta throttle bodies come out, and this is when they first came out, and they only sold a certain amount, and I bought one of their throttle bodies, and it was throwing off the air to fuel ratio. It was just it was doing all that, and so I messaged the company and nobody got back to me, and I sent them a couple emails and nobody got back to me, and on the 8th Gen forum, I put on there. I was like, what's the use of having an email when Skunk 2, and I tagged them. I said, when Skunk 2 won't even return that call. I spent this much money on a throttle body that doesn't work. My car has been parked in the garage or in the parking lot for 2 weeks. I can't get it to run because of this. Because when you get their throttle body, you have to send them your OEM.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So back then I sent them my OEM and I got that.
Shit.
Yeah. So I was like, fucked. So when I posted that, immediately they, on their account, the Skunk 2 reached out to me and said, hey, I heard you had this issue, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to send you a replacement, but first I need you to send us, that throttle body back. I'm going to send you a shipping label and everything else. I was like, cool. And, I never got the shipping label.
Mm-hmm.
So there I go again. What's the use of saying you're going to send me a shipping label if you don't send me a shipping? So then they got back to me and they said, our apologies. I don't know where the communication failed on our part, but we're going to send you this, and blah, 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 blah. So the next day I got that throttle body and I got the shipping label and I sent it off to him. Mm-hmm. And, we put it on and it ran like a champ and it was just strong. It made a different sound. I was like, I was all excited. And, I did a video because I think they sent me a shirt. If I'm not mistaken, they sent me a shirt with a throttle body. So I put the Skunk 2 shirt on and I did like a video, and the video's still on YouTube. I think it has like 78,000 views or something, but I did a walk around with the thing and this is that. And I did a video and I was all excited. And then I sent the video to Skunk 2 and excuse me. And, so when I was doing this communication with this account on this forum, I said, by the way, who am I speaking to? And he said, my name's Tony Shagday.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
shout out to Tony.
I said, Tony Shagday, holy shit, this is like the world record guy here. Like, holy shit, this is Tony. I said, Tony, and I heard of Tony back when Shop Talk. With Shop Talk, it was no internet. It was, you're in a garage building at companies or whatever, and people were just talking about what Skunk 2 just did and that, and all the hype. And so I was like, dude, like, Tony, I'm a huge fan of yours, bro. Like, I'm sorry if I ever disrespected you. I didn't know it was you on the other, end of this and blah, blah, blah. And he's all, haha, no worries. This and that. I'm glad we got taken care of, this and that. And I said, Tony, is there any way, I have a birthday next month. Is there any way I can go out to Skunk 2 to go see the shop and all this other stuff? Is there? And he's all, absolutely. Let me know what day and what time and I'll tell the guys and we'll get ready and we'll have lunch. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, sick.
Shut the fuck up. So this is when I was telling everybody, Visalia, I'm going to be going to Skunk 2 and Password JDM. Everybody's like, oh, you're a dumbass. You're a liar. So, Password JDM, I had all their stuff in my car already. And when I had all their stuff, I did the same thing. I contacted Password and I was like, hey, and Alan was the guy that was my contact back then. And I said, I'm going to be out at Skunk 2. Is there any way, I can, take my car by there and this is that? He goes, absolutely. We'll do a photo shoot of your car. You have all the Kevlar stuff, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, bring it on by. He goes, we'll do a photo shoot. I'm like, holy shit. So I drove to Norco, went out there, met with Tony, Dr. Charles. It was Brandon McRae.
Yeah.
Fucking Brandon.
Shout out to Brandon.
Yeah, Auto Life TV. Brandon. Oh my God.
Bonk? Aaron Bonk?
No. Oh my God. Don't kick my ass. I just fucking had a brain fart. What is his name? Anyways, so the guys from Skunk 2, they took us out and it was me and a couple of the guys from the team and we went out for breakfast or lunch. Tony drove my car and burned out in the drive-through or the parking lot of Skunk 2 and I recorded it. Matter of fact, it just showed up on my memories on
no way.
Yes, on Facebook. And we were sitting there drinking beer with Dr. Charles and it was just like a dream come true, man. And during the lunch, I asked Tony, I said, I don't want to ask for a sponsorship. I don't want to do, because I'm sure you get 1,000 of those. I don't want to come off like that dude.
Yeah.
I said, but is there any way that, Skunk 2 can like support this team? And he's all, how many are you? And I said, there's 5 of us. And he's all, absolutely, this is that. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to post this. And we're supported by Skunk 2. And So from there, the relationship grew, and we were diehard. Even like to this day, my Civic still does have Skunk 2 power on license plate, and so we're like diehard Skunk 2, and fans or whatever you want to call it. And then Skunk 2 decided to sponsor the entire team, so the entire team got sponsored. And I remember, we had stuff on our cars that nobody even knew Skunk 2 was making, and we would show up to IBOC with our hoods open. Everybody's like, what the hell's that? That's a Skunk 2 polymer intake. Like, nobody even knew that they were making it. And when they gave me the intake, Dr. Charles and Jeff from Go Power, they tuned my car, and they got like 210 horses to the wheels out of that intake. And it was just, so many good memories, the OG staff of Skunk 2 just brought that family vibe that Envyus had. They had it there at the place, at Skunk 2's facility. And I remember Dave, and it's funny because for a while I never knew Dave was the owner. I'd see him walk in and out, and I was like, who is that weird guy? Yeah. He kept giving me a weird look and just would go in there. So I told Tony, I was like, who is this guy? He's all, that's the owner. I go, shut the fuck up. He's giving me like the craziest looks every time he goes into his office. Like, what the fuck? So then Dave came out, and Tony was like, and this is like fast forwarded months, and Dave came out, and then Tony was like, hey, we're going to go out to eat. Dave, you down to go eat? He's all, yeah, I'll go eat. And then Tony was like, that's odd. He never goes out. He never goes with us. This is rare. Mm-hmm. So I think this is when Skunk 2 was getting a lot of trolling. They're getting a lot of that Junk 2 stuff. Yeah. They're getting a lot of trolling. So when we went to go eat with Dave sat back and he goes, so ask me any question. Any question you got, ask me. And I was like, I don't have any questions. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad we're here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's all, well, I'm sure you have something to ask. He's all, these trolls everywhere. They have so much shit to say. I'm sure you have a question or two. And I was like, I really don't have a question. I look at Tony like, help me, help me. And then Tony's all, yeah, Dave, Jimmy's just a huge supporter of the brand and this, that. And, and I think Dave's, trying to, ask you something about, there's a lot of trolling going on about the Skunk 2 and this, that. And I told Dave, I said, well, if anything, we, not support, but we defend Skunk 2.
Yeah.
We defend it. And, there's a lot of things that you guys have done that nobody in the industry is doing, And so that was the first time I met Dave. And then after that, Dave just, he became really cool with us. And, he gave me advice. He gave me advice that I carried on with the team. He said the biggest thing you do not want in that car club is an ego.
Yeah.
Anybody with an ego, get rid of them. It's going to hurt at first. Just get rid of them. And that was something we stood by. And it's true, but we did have a falling out with Skunk 2. Fast forwarded a couple years back, we communicated via email, which we shouldn't have. I think we should have just picked up the phone and communicated.
Yeah.
And, we decided to walk away, but there's no hard feelings. I mean, if it wasn't for Skunk 2, Tony Shagday, mostly, but if it wasn't for Skunk 2, we would not be where we're at, because Skunk 2 catapulted us into the public's or the import public, into their sites, because they posted us up a lot and gave us our recognition. And there was a lot of people that wanted to join just because we were sponsored by Skunk 2.
Yeah.
And, months prior to that, there was an article in Honda Tuning where it says, if you get sponsored by a company like Skunk 2 and blah, blah, it's like 1 in a million, people all day are reaching out for sponsorships. And one thing that I had to learn about sponsorships, and this might be some, food for thought to some of you guys out there. Don't come with a stock car and say, hey, I want to be sponsored. To be sponsored, you're going to have to blow a lot of money on your car before anybody gives you anything. When I reached out for a sponsorship to Skunk 2 and Password JDM, which were the first ones that ever, took time on us, you would already have thought I was sponsored by them because I had every product they had. I wore all their shirts at all the events. I didn't even wear Envyus shirts. I wore Skunk 2 shirts to every place I went. All the videos that we had, we shouted out Skunk 2, Password JDM, thanks for the support, blah. You would have thought we were supported by or sponsored by them before they probably even knew who we were. So, there's a lot of work that goes into sponsorships. So, you're going to have to spend money. And if you're getting in this with a stock car thinking somebody else is going to pick up the tab, it's not the way it works. You're going to have to spend a lot of money. And like even with Frank, with Downstar, you're going to get Frank's attention by having a meticulously beautiful build with all his hardware. Now you have his attention. So the next product that he comes out, that car would look sick with my shit on it. So now he's going to reach out and be like, bro, you know what I mean?
Let's work.
Let's do this.
And that's how it worked with Skunk 2 and I when I first started coming up. I already had Skunk 2 stuff on my car. I was already repping them, building a relationship. Yeah. And like you said, the old staff, they had their eye to the street, so they knew what was popping on the forums and things like that.
Yeah.
So when I reached out, they had already known who I was. And when they gave me the opportunity, I just said, okay, well, whatever I don't have that's Skunk 2, I want it now. Yeah. And I just had everything on my car. And that's how you do, man. If you want to work with people, like you make it worth their while.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, that's where they heard of us was from the Skunk 2, the Street Team video.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2011 as well.
Isn't that crazy that everybody who made it to their elites made it to be successful in the industry?
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? If you look at all the people who they have on their elites and their elites,
I'd say at least 80% of those people.
At least 80%.
Sheepy was on there, and Sheepy's fucking skyrocketing right now. You know, Rywire was on there. I was on there.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't think of.
Big Mike.
Big Mike was on there.
Big Mike was on there.
Yeah, dude.
The build, the tank.
Mm-hmm.
All these people, and it was like they had a little insight into the future or something, because, you had I guess, you had to already be somebody to bust your ass to get down that level anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that just,
Yeah, they weren't giving it out to anybody.
Hell no, they weren't.
It was,
shoot.
It was like an accomplishment for sure.
I remember... Oh my God. I remember when I just got just certified. I was like, oh my God, right? And I was all excited. And then we went in there because Brandon wanted to do a video, and the video's still up. Brandon wanted to do a video of my car. So we were in the garage, and we're doing the video, and Dr. Charles was putting on my little badge, and I remember he dropped the screwdriver, and he's like, oh my God, like he thought like he scratched the car. And I go, Charles, like if you scratch my car, bro, I just want you to put your thumbprint next to it or sign next to it. Like I didn't give a shit what you do to my car, bro. Like you're a legend, bro. Like, and so I remember when I was getting ready to leave, Tony Shagday said, he says, you really want to be an elite? I was like, Tony, you know what I mean? Like, I really want to be an elite. You know what I mean? Like, and he goes, okay. He goes, I'll be right back. So he went upstairs, and then the staff came out with all these boxes to the superchargers, the Kraftwerk supercharger. And this is when it first came out. And he's like, here you go. He goes, here's the supercharger. And then they even gave me the black manifold, which I don't even think, they never even came out with the black manifold until like a year or 2 years after they had the.
Yeah.
So they gave me the blacked out Skunk 2 manifold that went with the Kraftwerks. And he said, put this on your car. We'll tune it later, blah, 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 blah. And you'll be an elite.
No way.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God. So I went home, and I remember all the piping. I got the piping custom painted and everything else, and put it on, dolled it all up, and then showed back over there. And oh my God, dude, that was just insane.
Wow. Hell yeah, man.
So I know what those feelings are like to accomplish things in the import scene. That's why with Envyus we try to mimic a lot of the things, my past experiences, to make it more special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to get that Envyus banner, man, you're gonna bust your ass to get that banner. We do not give that banner away. When you see people with that banner, they worked for it.
Yeah.
It was not given to them. So we know how it feels.
Dope, man. One thing that I always like to touch on is that for everybody who is an entrepreneur and like, trying to build something, I always like to know what the home and work balance is, and how you're able to maintain those kind of things. I know we listened to the past episode with HPJ, and that was on the more extreme side of things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've explained the ways that I do it and try to perfect it as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I know you're always on the move and trying to make things happen. So
anything that there's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made in order to get to another level. And some people will look at, some people have different things to sacrifice. Okay. Some people have different things to sacrifice, and some would look at it like, this motherfucker's crazy, or I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, with my relationship with my wife the whole Envyus thing has taken its toll, and to me, that's part of the sacrifice. And, it's rough. It's rough for her to have somebody who is gone a lot. You can't really plan things as a family too much, because I always have something. There's always something. Mm-hmm. Either I'm leaving, or I have members coming over, or I have to take care of something. And that takes a big toll. And, if you get up one morning and you're saying, hey, I'm going to do this, and I want to, I want to be this public figure. I want to be on this level, or I want to do this thing in my eyes is going to be success. Sacrifice is going to come with it. And if you want it or not, sacrifice is going to come with it, if you want it or not. After you are successful, and after the dust settles, I think then the sacrifices aren't as extreme. But on the road to going where you're going to go, in order to make everybody happy, you're going to have to sacrifice somebody's happiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've learned that that the older you get, you become different than who you were when you were 18. You're different than who you were when you're 21. You're different who you were, like in my case, when I was 30. Mm-hmm. And if the day ever comes that she's like, the day's probably closer than what I think, she's done.
Yeah.
I'm going to respect it, and I'm going to have to, move on. If I was to leave and drop the team and lose my wife and lose the team, then it was all in vain. It was all for nothing. Mm-hmm. So, I have to continue to do what I'm doing with my grand vision. And, I'm not going to lie, it takes a toll, and it takes a tremendous toll on a relationship. Is it her fault? No. Is it my fault? Maybe. But, we were talking earlier, and it's, it's rough, and it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody to be successful, and it's not for everybody to be a part of somebody's success. It's not. And, I
mean, you haven't got to get deeper.
No, I know exactly what I'm doing. and I just I've always looked at things in a positive light, and I've always I always want to shake things off like a duck does water. That's the best way I can explain it. When a duck comes off in the water and it just falls right off.
Yeah.
There's different chapters to my life, and there's a whole bunch of people that I really wished they could join me on this, road, and and it's not for them.
Yeah.
And I will meet people like I meet people every day, and they find it fascinating. They find the lifestyle, intriguing, and they want to be a part of it. And, those are the ones that are going to, and I'm not saying females or nothing. I'm just saying, I'm talking like people in general.
Just support.
Yeah. Just support in general. And I've always felt on a personal basis that, there's different views of support at home. There's different views because my wife's ideas of support and my ideas of support can be totally different things. And, if you lack communication, you will never know what those are, And, so, you live and learn. And, with my grandiose visions of where Envyus is going to go, it's going to take a lot more from her, or, if not from her, but those surrounding me, because, like I said, I'm going to be going to Dubai. I'm going to be going to China. I'm going to all these different places that I've never taken her. I've never taken her out of state, or Las Vegas and Mexico. Okay,
yeah,
but not to the East Coast, or all the things that I've experienced. And when you're on the road like that, it gets lonely. You know what I mean? And especially with my kids. Oh my God, my kids are my world. And when I FaceTime my kids and I'm gone, man, that will bring tears to me. And that's the sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the sacrifice. I'm not going to, be as extreme as Jason.
Yeah.
My kids, it's like, I'm thinking of their future when I'm doing all this. I want to do a collaboration with these big companies in the future where, financially my kids and hopefully my grandkids will be taken care of. And if I have to do things that are going to separate me from my house right now, that's going to be the sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody, throwing stones, because, some people can say like, they can think like, oh, my house comes first and blah, blah, blah. And you're sitting there screwing around on your wife. Okay.
Yeah.
It's easy to point fingers when, you're doing some pretty, fucked up stuff that I wouldn't do to my wife. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. I know that the future, my future is bright. The team's future is bright. And, for my kids and my grandkids, I know their future will be bright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, that's where I'm going to get it. With my family as well, this is the sacrifices that I even had to make prior to my wife, like my parents were getting older in age, and every time I would leave, my mom would be like, this weekend your dad isn't feeling bad, and you better hope, he doesn't die when you're over there, and this is that. And I'd be in my head, I'd be in my head thinking like I'd be in another state in Texas thinking, damn, I hope my dad doesn't die this weekend. You know what I mean? And then come back home and he's perfectly fine mowing the yard. You know what I mean? And, so I would be gone a lot. And my parents did get older in age. And I did, leave, and I was gone almost every weekend. Every chance I had, I was out. And during the weeknights, I was out where I could have spent times with my parents. Now they're both gone, they both passed away. But that time I could have spent with them was a sacrifice that I had to do back then to be where we're at today. I had to. And that's how I feel the same thing now.
Yeah.
I have to, you know what I mean? And, it's, but We'll see. She's a champ. She's strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's strong.
Yeah, I really love when people share stories like that, because I want people to know that like this life isn't just about, cars and money and, traveling and shit like that. There's a lot of stuff that's behind the scenes that people really don't see, a lot of sacrifices that have been made. And if you want to be successful, you're definitely going to have to make some sacrifices. Yeah. And depending on how successful you want to be, how big you want your company to be or whatever, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot. Because the only currency that we really have is time. Yeah. And it depends on where you spend your time at, which if you spent all your time on your business, of course your business is going to grow. But when everything else doesn't grow, it's because you didn't maintain it.
Yeah.
So,
and there's there has to be a balance, and a balance is something that I never knew years prior. You know what I mean? And I'm one of those people that I have to live and learn, man. People can give me advice all day and I have to live and learn. That will shock you. Why? Let me touch it. Oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, don't touch that, dude. That will shock you. You know what I mean? Like that's me. I have to live and learn, and I made those sacrifices, with the time with my parents when they were alive, and now it's the marriage, you know what I mean? So, there's, if she's already had enough, she's already had enough. There's no way I can rewind time, because what's done is done.
Yeah.
My future is bright. I know it is. The team's future is bright. I know it is. If I had any doubt, I would not waste 1 minute trying to resuscitate a dead horse. You know what I mean? So I got to keep pushing forward. I'm so grateful that so many people in the industry have embraced me as a person. I mean, the team, but me as a person, because I can contact all these people that a majority of the industry, or the majority of enthusiasts, seem as untouchable. I have them on my contacts as and if I have questions, if I need help, if there's concerns, they're just a text away. And I could not have done that sitting on a couch, scratching my balls, watching TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've gone to car shows where it's pouring rain and you're just standing there with your hands in your pockets like, oh shit. I've gone where I get out of work at 3:00 in the afternoon. At 5:00, we're packing up and we're driving to El Paso, Texas, and we get there the next day at 1:30 in the afternoon with no sleep. I've done it. You know what I mean? I've done it. And I'm willing to do it again to get us on another level. And that more sacrifices will come. And what you guys have to realize is it's not easy. All this isn't easy. Where Frank is, it's not easy. Where I'm at, it's not easy. Where Honda Pro Jason at, it's not easy. Where you see the owner of Skunk 2, Dave, anybody with a position, Big Mike, it's not easy. Just because we don't post our personal business on social media, I don't post my finances. I don't post my relationships. People don't know if I'm married, if I'm broke, if I'm rich. They don't know shit. They just know about the car club.
Yeah.
I don't need to post all that. I don't need to brag about my sacrifices. I don't need to brag about, I don't need to brag about none of that. What I do is I've learned a lot doing this, and I give people advice on their road to wherever they're going. And 9 out of 10, they might not listen to me the first time until they get bit in the ass and they're like, oh shit, Jimmy told me about this. And then they're going to come back and ask me more. Like, okay, now I'm listening. So chew on the meat, spit out the bones. So if I tell you something and it's all out of experience, I don't make shit up. I don't have nothing better to do than, blow smoke up your ass. So yeah.
Dude, hell yeah, Jimmy. In these last 8 years, you really built something, man. And every day I'll see it. I'll get a tag and I see it and I have Envyus banner, dude. You know?
Oh yeah, man.
Envyus Uzbekistan.
And it's hard, man. It's hard keeping up, man. The team, man, they're ordering banners, you know, and everything. All the banners go through me every, you know. I don't trust any outsourcing to the, you know, making the banners, because we've had a lot of people counterfeit them already and everything else. And you know, I see it firsthand. You know, I'm sending out 20 banners to this state. I'm sending 15 banners to this chapter. I'm sending 35 banners to this country. And it's like, you know, and every one of those banners that it went to, man, these guys busted their ass to get there, and we're just growing and growing, you know. And we're super excited. You know, and I want to give my appreciation to you know, you guys listening who know who I am and who have supported, you know, the Team RI. And I thank you guys. You know, I thank you guys for believing in me and Team Envyus. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. You know, we started out as, you know, 5 knuckleheads in the middle of a fucking cornfield, and it blew up into a worldwide movement, you know, to the point where, you know, when Fast and the Furious reached out to us, you know what I mean? Like to that level, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm honored, and I don't ever take it for granted. And when anybody comes up and asks me for pictures or asks to talk to me, I don't want anybody to ever think that you're bugging me. Yeah. Because this is what I do it for. I do it for, you know, I know how it feels to stand in line to take a picture with Big Mike. I know how it feels to walk up to Frank Downstar and shake his hand and to see that smile and be like, oh shit, I know how it feels. And if I can give anybody that, I feel like I'm honored, because who the hell am I? You know what I mean?
I feel you, dude.
So this is cool.
That's what it's all about, Jimmy. And I know you're a busy guy, man. I really appreciate you being here for this podcast, dude.
Oh, man, brother. I was honored, man. When you said you wanted to do it, I was like, let's make this happen, brother.
Hell yeah, dude. Jimmy, so before we get out of here, is there anybody you want to shout out, and where can people find you at?
Oh, heck yeah. I would like to give a shout out, like I said, you know, to, you know, the enthusiast. On one hand, thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you guys for your interest in wanting to be a part of Team Envyus. I know we get a lot of messages that we probably don't respond back to, because we get a ton of people wanting to know more about the team. All I can say is just find your local chapter and keep grinding. And keep grinding, because everybody that has those banners on there, it wasn't given to them. So don't expect it to be given. Bust your ass. Show us that you really want to be a part of this, and we'll get you aboard, for one. But for two, I would really like to give a shout out to those people in the industry who are throwing events, who are making products, who are keeping this alive. You know, you guys, you can relate to a lot of the stuff that, when I talk about sacrifices, you can relate to a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, because you guys are sacrificing a lot of stuff, either it's through your marriage or your time with your children or financially, whatever. There's a sacrifice that you guys are making. And we thank you guys for keeping this industry alive, because without you, it would be a memory in the past. Like, oh, remember we used to do that? Remember they used to have Downstar? How come we don't have it no more? Yeah. You know, but you know, just keep pushing. IFO, you have Cliff. Shout out to Cliff from IFO. He always embraces us. Ranger from Elite Tuner. Jay from Tuner Evolution. Ryan from IBOC, and the most recent one, I Heart Honda Fest. You know, shout out to you guys who are making these events and keeping it real. Geo on Gearhead Society. Mm-hmm. You know, shout out to you guys. First of all, I appreciate you guys, because every time you guys reach out to me to have us out there, you know, you think of the team, you think of me, and you know, that means a lot. And I appreciate you guys, and you guys keep me going. You guys really keep me going, and the team will be there to support you guys regardless. And the companies, Downstar, you know, Voodoo, Top Ups, Clutch Wheels, Concept One. We have a ton of sponsors. I should have wrote a list down so I can give everybody a shout out. But to all you guys that support us, you guys are the reasons we exist and we keep on going, because that's just a little perk of being a part of this family, is to have you guys, with your products and backing us up. And, my guys are very proud to represent your guys' products. They're very proud of it. If you were to give out, Downstar shirts, man, you'd go broke. These guys love it.
Hell yeah.
But
man.
yeah, just a shout out to the industry as a whole, man. And Pastor JDM, even shout out to Skunk too, man, regardless of whatever, who cares, shout out to you
Hell
guys.
Yeah.
And, we're going to continue to make this grow. And if you have a dream to start a car club and to do whatever, and if you need advice, you can ask one of my members, one of my leadership. You can ask me for advice. We'll give you advice on how to make a successful car club. There's no stinginess going around here. That has no place with us. So if you guys ever need advice and you guys want to make your dreams successful, and if we can sit there and talk to you for an hour to figure things out, let's do it.
Dude, that's what's up, Jimmy. So what about your handles, bro? Where can they find you at?
Oh, my Lord. Okay, Instagram, Envyus, NVUS_CEO. And that's my Instagram. And then Team Envyus is team_NVUS, Team Envyus. Social medias, we have a public page with Team Envyus. And that's just Team Envyus on Facebook. And then Jimmy Gomez on Facebook. Hit me up. I think I have 8 slots open right now before I hit 3,000 or 5,000, whatever it is.
Top 8, baby. Get added to the top 8. Jimmy, it was a pleasure having you in here, man.
Much
it's always
love,
dope,
my brother.
to just
Much
kick
love.
it with you and talk, man. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, make sure you hit up Jimmy. And hit us up on the hotline, 818-937-3470. Make sure you save that in your phone. Once again, this is Downtime with Downstar, episode 112, and we out. Peace.